Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time once again as XRRL prepares to get underway here at Hungary. I'm your host for today's race, Insane Layer 13. And today, we're going to be looking at a little bit of a, underwhelming qualifying session to begin. Today, only 15 drivers have appeared to shown up for today's race, so all 15 of them should be able to advance to the next round. The only way that doesn't happen is if someone else joins in the middle of the qualifying session. I really don't anticipate that to be the case, so we'll likely see a lot of drivers go out and just turn a real quick burner lap before you get into the race itself. There we are. So we have gotten one more person show up. So we're looking for what will be an interesting run because there is a risk for rain to fall in the race itself. However, as it stands right now, we are anticipating a nice and proper run throughout qualifying under normal dry conditions. 16 drivers, so only one of these 16 will not advance to the next round. We're waiting to see who the first one will be who will try and come out onto the circuit. Typically, Q1 is just drivers on soft tires, just setting a lap to try and get into the next round. Still waiting to see who the first people to come out into the circuit is, and it looks like I'm seeing movement, and that will be the Red Bull of level 6 Beastia, and he's going to try and be one of the first drivers to get onto the circuit. Now, interestingly enough, he is being joined by TIR Flavor, and there has been an interesting little scenario. Raptor, who was one of the drivers in the Red Bull camp, has been moved back into the Mercedes, and Flavor has taken his spot in the Red Bull. Very interesting scenario. Nothing against Flavor, but I do think that he is significantly slower than Raptor, and to put Raptor into a faster car seems to be a little bit of an insult to both of them. Unless there has been a significant update in the way that everything has been laid out when it came to car balancing in the last update that came in the last 2 weeks. We're currently watching Level 6 BC, and he, along with Mr. Anderson and Sasha Andre, were the first drivers to get onto the circuit. Again, only 16 cars right now in this session. There may be one or two more who tried to jump in later, but assuming we stick with only 16, it's not going to be really high intensity for most of the drivers. Only one person will get knocked out, and all it takes is for someone to have a silly, stupid accident at some point in the session, and then Q1 basically becomes irrelevant. But we are going to go ahead, and what is supposed to be the fastest car in the game with this new update, we're going to go silent on board with Level 6 BC for a full lap around Hungaroring. And there it is! There's your first DNF, and that's going to be Ledger, who who has had the first DNF of the session. He did not even get a set of lap time, and an accident out of turn number 5 will keep him out of Q2. You're in here real quickly and see if he'd be willing to talk about how he just suddenly went out this early before anyone even got a set of lap. And this basically means that this session becomes irrelevant. Everyone just needs to set a banker lap and they are in for the next round. As level 6 Beasting goes to the top with 118.780, Sasha, very uncompetitive time, 129 flat almost. So yeah, people just need to go out there, set a lap time, and that's it. So Sasha doesn't even have to worry about it. He can just go ahead, coolly bring it into the pits, and then just, prepare for Q2. Mr. Anderson to the top now with 118.561. XRRL in the Ferrari has come out on circuit. He is joined by XRL Raptor. They'll actually pull over a bit to let Raptor get by. So now Raptor has nothing but pure clean air ahead of him. Not a good run for Raptor last season in the Mercedes on the prior game, and he had been in Red Bull for the last few runs within XRRL. Now Raptor back in the car that did not treat him well, but he's hoping that his experience and improvement will bring him to a better result in this machine. Sasha now goes ahead. He goes faster with the 117.614. I'm currently watching Raptor, Low, Hurricane, Ultimate, and Jamestown all out there on track as well. Behind him, the Raptor's going to try and be the 4th person to set a lap time. And we're going to go on board with Raptor for a full lap here, since we weren't able to do it earlier with Beastie, to see what it's like on board the Mercedes here. For XRRL Raptor on his flying lap. And already the Mercedes car, which has given him so much grief before, is trying to do it again. El Frisbee, Davis John is still on track. El Frisbee, Smoothie 25, and XRRL Ollie are all on the circuit preparing their laps. Lowe is going to try and be one of the next drivers to set a lap time. You also have Ryan Hurricane. He's a little bit farther back. He is in the Alfa Romeo now. You can see Raptors pulled totally off the circuit there so as not to block other drivers' attempt. XRRL Ultimate in the other Haas is in the middle of the lap. He's got a purple Sector 1 right now. Only 3 drivers have set a clean lap time thus far, but I anticipate that will change very shortly because we are about to see this man here, XRRL, cross the line with a time of 117.857. The run is on, but all you have to do is just set a lap. Doesn't even have to be a fast lap. Just set a proper clean lap and you are in Q2 because Leisure's accident has guaranteed all 15 drivers here will advance in. So we're right on board with Frisbee now. It's our 3rd chance, 3rd time's the charm, maybe. On board the Haas for a full lap around Hungary. Another DNF, and it's XRRL Low, who has had an accident after setting a respectable time, and that's 2 DNFs already in the first session. And we don't, and that car was staying right in the middle of the racetrack as well. Thankfully, it got despawned before Frisbee ended up on it, but we're going to try and get Low in here and see if maybe he'd be willing to express what happened in that Ferrari. Smoothie 25 in the middle of the lap, about to finish it up. He'll be the 6th driver to set a lap time. Coming to the line, Smoothie, 122.128. Frisbee to the top with a 117.534. So despite having that brief moment of hiccup as the game had to despawn Lowe's car ahead of him, Frisbee didn't care. He kept going. He now has the fastest time on track. This is Ollie, currently going through Sector 2, and he's got McLaren behind him. I believe that is that's Stone Shuffle, who's on an out lap. But Ollie is going to try and be the 9th driver to set time in the session. Ollie. Sasha retires from the session. He feels no need to push harder, and Ollie has aborted his lap. So now the focus goes to TIR Flavor, who will finally get another Q2 appearance if he can just set a lap in the session. Stone Shuffle has invalidated the lap he's in the middle of right now. So that means that the focus goes to XRRL Zola to be the 9th driver to set a lap time in the session. Zola to the line. His time, it's a 1:17.828. Stone Shuffle on a lap that's not valid. No, it is valid. He's got a new flying lap going, as does TIR Flavor. And again, all these drivers will make it into Q2 without issue, assuming they just don't crash their cars like Lowe or Ledger did. Sasha, Frisbee, Ultimate, Beastian have all retired from the session. They know they don't have to push their cars harder, and they won't. 6.5 minutes left in the session right now. Stone Shuffle to the top now with a 1:17.533. Feeling very confident in the McLaren. Mind you, in real life F1, McLaren has the pole for the Sochi race. That'll be going down tomorrow. So just trying to replicate some McLaren success here. Although again, with only 16 drivers and 2 of them already out, these times don't really matter. It's just a matter of setting a clean lap within the time left in the session. Here comes TIR Flavor. He'll be the 11th driver to set a lap time in the session. 1:18.805. Ozda is still in the pits. Ollie right now is on an out lap, and Raptor, after crashing in his first attempt, goes to the top in his second. 1:16.983. He wraps his hands around the throat of that Mercedes and manhandles it to the fastest time thus far. So it's all down to Ollie and Ozda. Driver we're watching right now, as Ozda has yet to come onto the circuit. And after Ollie sets a time, it's just going to be a matter of when does Ozda set his time. Just a few more corners left for Ollie. Coming to the end of Sector 2. Purple Sector 2. Ollie's teammate, Ryan Hurricane, has the 6th fastest time thus far in the session. So now that Ollie has set his times, Raptor goes ahead and retires. So right now, Ollie's the only driver on track turning active laps, but Ozda is now beginning. So we're going to go silent and right on board with Ozda on his upcoming lap. This will be the last new lap of the session. Ozda waited until the track was almost totally empty. Ollie is ahead. Will Ollie move aside to let Ozda by, considering Ozda's on an out lap? I imagine he would. Coming down to the end of Sector 2. Actually, it looks like Ollie's just far enough ahead of Ozda that Ollie can come into the pits without compromising Ozda's lap at all. So Ozda will be the only driver on track. Like I said, we will be silent and right on board with him for this lap. Coming to the final corner. And indeed, Ollie comes into the pits. So silent for us as we watch Ozda go for his flying lap in Q1. Invalid lap by Ozda, so he's going to have to go for another attempt at this. There's still 1 minute and 40 seconds left on the clock, so Ozda will be able to do it without issue. But he needs to set a clean lap. If Ozda does not set a clean lap, he, just like Lowe and Ledger, will not advance into Q2. Ozda went on record talking to me earlier saying that he does not feel comfortable with this circuit at all. Another lap on board. Alright, and that's the lap. The session is over for Q1, and Ozda sets a proper flyer lap and will automatically advance to the next round. So of the 16 drivers who showed up in this session, Raptor leads them in the times, the only one to break the 117 barrier. Stone Shuffle, Frisbee, Ollie, Sasha Andre, Zola, Ryan Hurricane, Ultimate, Mr. Anderson, Ozda, BCN, TIR Flavor, and Jabascom will all advance. And Smoothie 25 will advance as well, Lowe crashed out after setting a lap time, and XRRL Ledger will not advance after he crashed out on his out lap. So 14 of our 16 drivers will advance into Q2, and like we say all the time, Q2 is where things get interesting. It's where you decide the tire strategy for your race if you qualify amongst the top 10 fastest. So we're just standing by now, waiting to see who the first driver to come out onto the circuit is going to be. But already, it seems like the decision in the pits is relatively well split between mediums and softs, and the first driver to get onto the circuit is going to be an AlphaTauri, and it's Ozda, the last driver who set a lap time in Q1, will try to be the first one to do it in Q2. He is out well before anyone else. The next car to get onto the circuit is going to be the Haas. I believe that will be El Frisbee. Yes, El Frisbee will be the second one. Frisbee had one of the faster laps in the prior session. But again, last session, after a very early crash, didn't really matter. It was just a matter of getting laps logged. This is where we actually will start to see who has proper pace or not. And although Raptor can definitely put a feather in his hat saying that he came back from an accident to take the fastest time in Q1, it really doesn't mean anything when no one was pushing too hard. Now Raptor's really going to have to back that up with some real bite on the track. Watch Ozda. Ozda electing to start on medium tires if he can get a fast lap, a top 10 lap in on these mediums. Also, level 6 Beastian in the Red Bull, he has come out now. Beastian had been a long feature of the Mercedes team in XRRL. Now he's in the Red Bull. As Ozda now begins his lap. There is now TIR Flavor who is out on the circuit as well. So Flavor has also begun a proper lap. Oh, and he's had an incident. No, he's not had an incident, but he's pulled over. He pulled over so Ozda could get a flyer lap. Thing is, he pulled over at a place where Ozda didn't have the cleanest view of turn 3 there, of turn 2, turn 3. So, I don't know if that's going to harm Ozda's time or not, but we may see him bring the AlphaTauri back onto the circuit later. Now we see Raptor coming onto the circuit as he is behind. Right now, he is behind Frisbee, who is the other driver on a flying lap. Mr. Anderson has now merged onto the racetrack as underway. Level 6 Beastian aborting his attempt. He is back in pit lane. Purple Sector 2 for Ozda. To the line. Ozda, the time that everyone will be chasing will be a 1:19.495, and now we turn to look at Frisbee, who is coming down to the last corner now. What can he do compared to Ozda's time? Frisbee is on softs while Ozda is on mediums. Frisbee will set a lap time of 1:18. No, yes, 1:19 actually, 1:19.404. I thought we would see faster from him. But that is it for now. So now it goes to XRRL Raptor and TIR Flavor, but Flavor is just now exited Sector 1. Oh, and Ozda, he's had an accident. Like we've seen so many times from Ozda, he sets an incredible lap and then almost right afterward bends it. Now Flavor comes into the last two corners. These two corners both 180-degree sweepers. Not extremely fast in that Red Bull, but he's smooth. He's on the medium tire, so if he wanted to, he could elect to throw on softs later in the session and try and go faster. To the top, 1:19.349, so Flavor may have a little bit of something in that Red Bull. And now a bunch of other drivers are in the middle of laps right now. Mr. Anderson and XRRL Raptor are two of them. There is also, to have note, Frisbee, who is still out on the circuit, although he's coming into the pits now. Raptor to the top, 1:17.899. Here comes Mr. Anderson in the Aston Martin. At the line, Mr. Anderson, 1:18.923. So the times are beginning to fall. Ollie, this man here, Zola, and XRRL Ultimate and the other Haas are on track, preparing to get flying laps underway. The tide seems to be in favor of medium tires for the moment, though. Zola, just like Ollie ahead, is in the middle of the lap. Oh, and Ollie has had a spin. Ollie spins on the very front. Not only did he spin, he's hit something. He's ripped off the entire front wing and that Aston Martin. And that's going to compromise his ability to get a lap in. It's going to be a long drive back to pit lane. Then they'll have to replace the tires potentially. They'll absolutely have to replace the front wing before they can go again. Not the kind of scenario Ollie would have wanted. So Zola going to try and be the 6th driver to set a lap time in the session. Clattering the McLaren over the curbs in Sector 2. Ollie off circuit again, but he's still underway. Raptor retires from the session. He feels very confident with his 117. He's not going to push it harder. Only the top 10 fastest drivers will advance to the next round. Here comes Zola. Jabazkian and XRRL Ultimate are in the middle of flying laps right now. Zola, what will he do on the mediums? The answer is a 118.977. He has not busted the 118.9 barrier. In fact, no one except for Raptor is faster than that, and Raptor is almost a full 1.1 seconds faster than the second fastest driver thus far. So it's a very interesting scenario. Ollie finally brings it into the pits. Smoothie now in the middle of a flying lap. Jabazkian is in the middle of a flying lap. Ryan Hurricane is in the middle of a flying lap, and XRRL Ultimate is poised to be the next driver to set time. And Mr. Anderson has had an accident, and Mr. Anderson has crashed out in Sector 2 all by himself after having set the second fastest time thus far. He will not advance. The accident, a massive, massive testament to how difficult the circuit can be. Ultimate goes second fastest, 118.801. He is still a full second slower, well, almost a full second slower than Raptor. But we're going to try and get the Aston Martin driver of Mr. Anderson in to see what happened. Smoothie 25 in the middle of a lap right now. And a little bit ahead is Ryan Hurricane. Hurricane coming in the line. They'll set a lap time of 1:18.458. So the gap between Raptor and the second fastest driver is closing. People are finding speed. Smoothie, 1:19.421. And coming into the party right now is Mr. Anderson. Mr. Anderson, second fastest time at the time of that accident, but you are out and will not advance to Q3. What happened that took you out there?
I lost on the curb. I was on my time, and then I got greedy, and then I crashed just one of the other times. And, yeah. Oh well, that's what it is.
So now the question is, can you rebound from this in the race and still get into the points-paying positions?
Probably not, because I hate this track. I'm terrible at it, so it's probably the only track I probably just get to drive properly.
You even would prefer Monaco over this?
Probably, yeah. The curbs are just complete death on this track, so I'd prefer Monaco, yeah.
Alright. Well, I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah.
It's a shame to see you out so early, especially with the good lap you had, and hopefully your predictions are wrong and we can still see you trying to fight up through the grid.
Hopefully, we'll see what happens, but I mean, as long as I keep it and try and stay off the curbs, I mean, anything can happen in this track. There's many people just there as a Haas as well, so you'll never know.
Alright, well, and Ultimate has had an accident. But anyways, we will let you go. We'll see you in the race itself, as Ultimate has had an accident that spun him off the circuit. Frisbee is going to pull over and let Beastian by. A little bit of trouble seems to be inflicting the Haas team now. But Beastian, along with Stone Shuffle, are preparing for laps, and they're going to be setting laps on these soft tire compounds. Right now, of the 9 drivers, well 10 if you want to count Anderson, that have set lap times, 8 of them have been on medium tire. 9 of them have been on medium tires. Stone Shuffle and Level 6 Beastian want to upset that status quo. believe that's Smoothie who was pulled off there to let other drivers by in Sector 2. BCN now beginning his lap as Stone Shuffle is purple in Sector 1, now through Sector 2. This is a much more difficult part of the circuit. Very, very technical, very start and stoppy all through here. Clatters that McLaren over the curbs just like his teammate Zola did. Zola, speaking of which, has already retired from the session. And Ozda is out, and Ozda has had an accident that will take him out of the session. Ozda with an accident coming out of turn 1. Just like Mr. Anderson before him, he will not advance into the next round. And we're going to try and get Ozda into the party here. Ozda, if you can hear us, go ahead and include your audio. Out of Section 2, what happened there that took you out? Ozda, can you hear us? Stone Shuffle now jumps up to 4th on the timesheets.
Yeah,
it seems like
sorry.
he cannot hear us. There we are. Now, Ozda, go ahead and include your audio. What happened there that took you out?
Well, for the whole of quali, I've been having wheel glitches, so it's been hard to set a competitive lap anyway. And then I had a really massive one at the moment, and like I can't put the power down to really, and combining them both just put me straight in the wall. So I'm not very happy.
It's an absolute shame. So now the question is, we know that like Mr. Anderson, who's a good friend of yours, you're not a fan of this circuit, but do you think you can recover from this and get back into the points-paying positions?
It's going to be difficult as I don't know what's going to happen with the wheel glitches throughout the race, and obviously I'm not really a fan of the track either. It's quite hard and technical, especially in this year's game as you have a lot more floor downforce, so I'm not too sure.
Alright, well, hopefully we get to see you move up through the field. It's a shame to see 2 DNFs from 2 good friends in this race. In this race's second qualifying session. Hopefully it doesn't repeat in the race itself. So now we turn our focus back into the circuit. Level 6 BC, the fuel is low, the ERS is running low as well. But in the Red Bull, he is going to try and beat Mr. Anderson's time. He is up by 7/10. That would be enough to get him ahead of Mr. Anderson and put that the Red Bull into the top 10 in times. Sasha Andre, though, is in the middle of the lap as well, and he could really upset things. TIR Flavor, who at one point was the fastest driver on circuit. Oh, and there's been another DNF! And that's the McLaren of... I can't tell if that was Stone Shuffle or Zola, but interesting enough, those 2 drivers are still, right now, still in. Level 6 Beastin has advanced in. Smoothie 25 needs to set a faster time, but there's only a minute and 20 seconds left, and he's still in pit lane. TIR Flavor is on an out lap right now. He needs to somehow beat Mr. Anderson's time of 118.9, and Sasha Andre is waiting for the last minute to set a lap time himself. Sasha, purple, Sector 1. Him and TIR Flavor, one of the fastest and one of XRRL's slowest, going at it for the moment. Sasha, we're going to be watching as he is on the run to the line. As it stands right now, Mr. Anderson will not advance into the next round. Smoothie 25 will not advance either. He is retired in pit lane. And the frustrating thing for Smoothie is that his time was just as fast as Anderson's fastest, but he does not win the tiebreaker, however that's calculated. So he is not in. We could see only 9 drivers advance in the next round if Sasha can't pull a good lap out here. Down to the final corner in the Williams for Sasha Andre. The rear wing opens up on the front straightaway, and at the line, he's up to 3rd, 118.259. So now, TIR Flavor needs to beat 118.801, beat Ultimate's time if he wants in. This is his only shot. He will not get another chance to make Q3 for a long time. He is up by 4/10 at the end of Sector 1. And the lap is still legal. This is the technical sector, though. Very start-stoppy through here. All eyes on the Red Bull driver. Has been in a Mercedes for every prior XRRL race before today. Now in a new car, and he's trying to bring Red Bull, both Red Bull cars, on with his teammate Beastian, into Q3. He is up by 1.2 seconds. This could happen. seems to be having a little bit of trouble in these final 2 corners. But can he do it? Can he advance into Q3 and fight for the pole? He goes the fastest lap time of them all on the soft tires. It's TIR Flavor with a 1:17.787. He saved it all for the last minute, and TIR Flavor is the fastest at the end of Q2. Sasha Andre is going to retire into the pit lane, and that will bring an end to the session. But TIR Flavor, not only will he make his first ever appearance in Q3 for XRRL, he will do it with the fastest time at the end of the session. An outstanding run. Here's your results. The 10 drivers that are highlighted up are the ones that will advance. Of note, BC and Flavor in the Red Bull, they will be starting the race on soft tire compounds. Everyone else will be starting on mediums out of the top 10. And the spread from the fastest to the slowest of those 10 who make it in, a spread of less than a second. So this could be an interesting run through qualifying. Although I imagine we'll see the Red Bulls drop down to probably closer to the back of the top 10. The fact that both Red Bulls make it. Outstanding. So now we prepare to get underway for the pole shootout. 10 drivers make it in this far. Question is, who's going to be the first to get out there? Both, also, while we are really high off of, both Red Bulls making it in, we also don't want to ignore the fact that both McLarens made it in, as did both Alfa Romeos. So good job on their part, and the first driver to come onto the circuit is going to be one of those Alfa Romeo drivers. It is Ryan Hurricane. Right through Sector 1 right now. Uphill, down to Sector 2, but again, right now we're just in the outlap portion. Laps don't count for anything yet. So almost everyone except for Sasha, Flavor, and Stone Shuffle are on track, and Stone Shuffle is coming onto the circuit right now. He'll be just far enough ahead of Ryan Hurricane that will not impede Ryan Hurricane's lap. So Flavor and Sasha Andre, the 2 drivers who are in that shootout to make it into Q3, they will be the last drivers to try and set laps here. Right on board with Ryan Hurricane right now. He's in the middle of his lap. We've seen 2 accidents in Q1, 2 accidents in Q2. Around that sweeper, uphill, somewhat blind as you crest it, and then you come into this really, really tight chicane, and then there's several more really start-stop corners. This entire Sector 2 very, very aggravating to run through. It takes a lot of time, and the car has to be very well set up for it, mechanically speaking. But even if the driver ahead makes a mistake, there's not really any chance for you to capitalize and overtake the person ahead. Here we are. Now, the time that everyone's going to be chasing. for the pole. 1:17.737 in the Alfa Romeo. Right afterwards, here comes Zola, beats that immediately at 1:17.722. Now, here comes Ollie. He's going to be the third driver to set a lap time, and he'll be joined afterwards by Raptor. Ollie at the line will set a lap time of 1:17.355. Raptor, 1:17.435. Now you go to the Haas of El Frisbee. He's gone off circuit, but the lap is still legal for the moment. He's still pushing through it. Yes, he's still going to go for it. He's going to go for another flyer. So this lap's not going to be very fast, but he's going to immediately go on another fast one. So this one will be a 1:19.701, and then here comes David Stone to the top, 1:17.164. Stone Shuffle will be the 7th driver to set a lap time thus far in this session, assuming he doesn't invalidate in these last 2 corners. TIR Flavor and Level 6 BC and the 2 Red Bulls in pit lane, although Flavor has just come onto the circuit in his first ever appearance in Q3 in XRRL. And there's been an incident. Ryan Hurricane has had an accident in the second to last corner. And he's going to cut right in, I would imagine. No, he's going to stay out. He thinks that there's no significant no, he is coming in. A very late decision, but he will be coming in. So the focus goes to Sasha Andre. And Frisbee. Frisbee is down a little bit of time at the end of Sector 1, but he lost all his time in Sector 3. So it doesn't matter too much yet. He's up by 12 hundredths at the end of Sector 2. The fuel light is flashing. He is very low on ERS. But he's going to get this lap in. One more corner left for the Haas driver. And coming to the line, the rear wing pops open. He will set a lap time of 1:17.053. That's the second best thus far, but it's still Stone Shuffle with a 1:16.967, who's at the top. He's the only driver who has broken the 1:17 barrier thus far. Sasha invalidates his lap. So the focus now goes to TIR Flavor, who will try and be the 8th driver to set a lap time in the session. As pole qualifying continues to be underway here. Raptor very slow in Sector 2. The fuel light is flashing, and I have to imagine that he's going to try and come into the pits to fuel up and put on a new set of tires. Sasha, another lap attempt. BCN still in the pits. He came out earlier, was not able to set a lap. So Sasha and Flavor, once again, those two were spatting it out earlier. Now they're doing it again. Sasha off circuit in Sector 1, so he doesn't seem to be as comfortable with the Williams now as he was in the last session. Even then, he did make it. Oh, and another invalid lap for Sasha. So here comes Flavor to the last 2 corners now. He will have the ERS to go for another flyer if he so chooses. And at the line, the Red Bull Honda will set a lap time of 1:17.540, a competitive lap time by his standards. Normally see him well off pace, but this is shaping up to be one of his best runs. And Sasha, who has for a long time been a staple of the Williams team, I'm not sure if there's a wheel glitch going on or something with the handling, maybe an update to the Williams causing an issue, but he spins coming into the pit lane, saves the car. There's less than 5 minutes left in the session. He's not been able to get a single lap in thus far. It looks like he is struggling massively. And now Level 6 BC and on circuit, his teammate Flavor will pull over, so he has nothing but clean track ahead of him. It's only the 2 Red Bulls on circuit as we speak. We're going to ride silently on board with him for a lap. XRRL Raptor is coming back onto the circuit, preparing to go for another flyer, and we'll break in like normal if something else happens. But for now, we'll ride silent on board with BC and see what he can do in the Red Bull Honda. There you are, the two Red Bull teammates of BCN and Flavor relatively close to each other on time. The focus is still going to be on Sasha, although there are a bunch of other drivers, one of them being Raptor, out there either in the middle of flying laps or setting up for flying laps. But Sasha still has not been able to set a lap time in this session. That Williams seems evil for him right now. Frisbee pulling over on the straight to let the Red Bull go by. Ryan now beginning a flyer lap. Ollie is on a flyer, Raptor is on a flyer. Raptor up just a little bit at the end of Sector 1. Not quite 500ths. He's up, though, by almost 5/10ths at the end of Sector 2. So he's found a little something, and that Mercedes might be able to move up the grid just a bit. Stone Shuffle has the fastest lap time thus far. He's the only driver to have broken a 1:17 thus far in the session. Raptor wants to take issue with that. He thinks he should add his name to that list. And does he ever? 1:16.412 for XRRL Raptor in the Mercedes. Sasha, the focus continues to be, can he even get a clear lap in on this Williams? Still seems to be a little bit twitchy in that Williams, but not quite as bad as it was earlier. Coming to the end of Sector 2, there's just 3 more corners left for Sasha on this lap. Ambitian retires in pit lane. He feels that he cannot go any faster than the 1:17.501. So that means he'll be able to save tires. He'll have just a little bit more tire life going into the race itself if they need to put on any of the tires that were used here. Sasha finally sets a lap time, and it's a very good one, 1:16.746. Zola has invalidated the lap he's in the middle of, but he'll make it to the line in time to get another run at. Ryan Hurricane is down significantly at the end of Sector 1, and there's not a lot of time left. I don't think he'll make it to the line in time for another shot at this. Not to mention, he's right behind El Frisbee. Raptor in the pits now. He's not going to come for another shot at this. This is James Dawn. He's trying to race to the start-finish line and try to get this good lap in. He is up by 4/10ths at the end of Sector 2. But the clock is ticking. There's less than 10 seconds. John will not get another chance because when it comes to the time in Session 3, time's up, over, plow. James John, his fastest time will be a 1:16.606. That's good enough for a front row competition. TIR Flavor is going for another lap right now. He is up by a small amount of time. Who had the fastest time earlier is trying to go faster. Zola has invalidated his lap. Sasha also in the middle of a lap right now. So it's going to be Sasha, Stone Shuffle, and TIR Flavor as the ones to watch. Coming to the line is Stone Shuffle. He had his purple Sector 2, trying to break back onto the front row after leading the top of the timesheets for most of this session. To the line, the rear DRS pops open, and he'll set a lap time of 1:16.543, not enough to get him to the front row. Sasha aborts his attempt, so the focus goes back to TIR Flavor. He is up by nearly 5/10ths at the end of Sector 2. That would be enough to launch him over his teammate Beastion and potentially over Ollie and Hurricane. He's up to 6, and he will start the race 6. Flavor showing some immense speed in the Red Bull team. There is your top 10 starters, and a reminder that the Red Bulls will be starting on soft tire compounds as we now wait for the 5 minutes until we get into the race itself. So a 5-minute wait until we get into the race itself. Just stand by until we get to the race. So we just continue to stand by right now until we get to the race itself. All right, here we are. Coming onto the track. 4 lights, 5 lights. And it's lights out and away we go! As a drag race between the Haas and the Mercedes down the line, but there's a Ferrari of James John trying to be competitive as well. The Haas plummets down the order, and it's going to be an easy run. They're nearly 4 wide under braking, and the Ferrari falls back to the 4th position against Stone Shuffle. He's trying to hold it around the outside. They are 4 wide. They are crazy in the back. Level 6 BCN is all the way around. Mr. Anderson is around, but everyone's going to get by without too much of an issue here. TR Flavor has fallen out of the top 10. Hurricane has actually promoted himself up into the 8th position. And of note, Ozda is now in the points paying spots in 10th. Smoothie gets by low there for the 12th position now. And immediately we start seeing the field single file out in Sector 2. It's too slow, too choppy to really make overtakes here unless the driver ahead is a good 2 seconds a sector slower, or they make a significant mistake. And when I say 2 seconds a sector slower, I mean that, not 2 seconds a lap slower. To make an overtake in Sector 2, they basically need to be 2 seconds slower in that sector alone to make an overtake stick. That's how slow and difficult it is to make something happen in Sector 2. Already we're beginning to see drivers coming into the pits to repair damage from that first lap incident. But right now it's Raptor at the front. Ozda with a twitch. He's into the inside wall. And we'll lose a position at TIR Flavor. Is there something wrong with that car? Is he experiencing a wheel glitch again? That's his teammate Smoothie 25 right behind him now, as everyone 13 through 60 is in pit lane repairing damage. Smoothie gets by his teammate. So what is wrong with Ozza? There is front wing damage on that AlphaTauri now. He's all the way off circuit, can't seem to keep the car on the track. And of note, Ultimate, who started the race on hards, is up in the 9th position while everyone ahead of him is on mediums. And Ozda extremely slow right now through Sector 2, losing all sorts of pace compared to the lead group. But as we look here, Ultimate, we're right on board with Flavor, as Ultimate has caught Hurricane and Leisure, and this is about to turn to a 4-way battle. No DRS yet. It's going to take another lap or so before DRS gets enabled. So any overtake you see here, which I don't think we'll see, but if you see an overtake here, it will be 100% either driver ability or the driver ahead making a big mistake. Here's a fighting note. Stone Shuffle trying to close on Jabez John, but Jabez is on the inside of Sasha. Cannot make an overtake stick though. Sasha will hold on to second for the moment. The Haas of Frisbee fell all the way to last after having a poor start. Ozda in the pits trying to repair the damage. Right out the back of Ryan Hurricane. As you can see, Ultimate and Flavor back there. He is looking at Ledger ahead of him. Top 10 all very close to each other on track, and then it's just massive gaps from everyone. 12th on back. Frisbee, BCN, Ozda. There's a lot of stuff. Oh, and Ozda's out. You saw it for a brief moment, but Ozda is out. And he's out of the race. And that's a virtual safety car as he has come to a stop on the racetrack. Did not even make it 2 full laps, and he's already neglected to go ahead and speak with us. He is gone already, but we are under a virtual safety car. And now the question is, does anyone near the front elect to come into the pits or not? It looks like everyone's going to stay out. So it should just be a brief race stoppage. Well, not even a stoppage, just a brief race slowage. Beastian with a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. Then Zola gets by his teammate Stone Shuffle on the run to 1 and 2. He caught his teammate slacking, and now Zola, despite having a very, very poor run in qualifying, is now up in the 4th position over Stone Shuffle. top of each other right now. The soft tire compounds also still have some life in them. At this point in the race, ooh, Stone Shuffle really, really slow, clattering over the corner. And that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. As you see Ollie capitalize there, Stone Shuffle lost so much time, was way offline, way slower, and that let Ollie sneak by. That's the kind of thing that you need to do if you want to make an overtake in Sector 2. Most drivers don't even do that, or even when they do see that opportunity there, they don't capitalize on it. They just try and wait to make overtakes down the main straight and in Sector 1. The entire field from second down to about 8, all on top of each other, and no DRS though, so this is a classic Truly train. Well, in this case, I guess you could call it a classic Sasha train. Low, fastest lap on fresher softs with a 121.694, and those times will only continue to drop as they burn off the fuel load. The way Formula 1 cars are constructed right now, weight is the most important thing to get a fast lap. So that time will drop significantly near the end of the race. There is no refueling in Formula 1. There has not been since the start of the 2010 season. Sadly, there should be refueling back, in my opinion. As we see Ollie putting heavy pressure on Zola. So Ollie really, really fast throughout the more technical bits in Sector 2. He's putting a lot of pressure on the McLarens. And Sasha, Jabez, John fine. Jabez had to back way out. He got alongside the Williams, but could not make it stick. And whenever DRS comes back into play, this is going to become a really, really interesting fight. And it's here now. Jabez, Sasha, Zola, Ollie, all on top of each other. Jabez got by Sasha going down the main street, but Ollie could not do the same to Zola. Ollie gets another chance going down this short run out of turn 1. Can't make it stick though, as we switch to right on board with Ollie. He is behind Zola for the moment, and Sasha is now in their sights. You can see the extra weight still in Zola's car, and it's dragging the rear of that McLaren around. Not going to make him feel very happy with the handling of the rear of that car. Oh, and Ledger has just spun out of the top 10 positions. Now he will be able to get back going, but he is now out of what would be points-paying positions. That promotes smoothly back into the points-paying spots now. Lowe gets a time penalty at the same time. And Ollie now has got a run on Zola. Will he make a move in the third to last corner? He's on the inside. Zola can't make it stick, but Zola's faster on corner exit. Ollie faster again. Ollie seems to be much faster than other cars throughout sectors 2 and 3. The problem is that means that he is down on time, it seems, compared to them on the straights where you make 90% of the overtakes here. Zola really, really slowed down the straightaway. The underbody is sparking like mad. Ollie to the inside. He should be able to take the position just by having the preferred line of choice. And he has DRS for the next straight. Zola does not have DRS back. Zola looking to the inside. He's got his car on the inside. They're side by side through 2. Now they're on down to 3. And Zola has to back out. Ollie takes the 4th spot now. And Ultimate is out of the race. Ultimate with an accident there in Sector 2 as a full course safety car. And your second DNF for the day is XRRL Ultimate. We're going to try and get Ultimate in here. Hear what happened that took him out. But travesty, as he was fighting with TIR Flavor back there, and now he is out of race contention. And this will be perfect for drivers like Lowe, Frisbee, Anderson, and Beastian. And coming into the party right now is XRRL Ultimate. Ultimate, go ahead, include your audio. What happened out there?
Well, the hatch is just awful. Yeah, so I was trying to push people in the back and gave it too much. But yeah, it's my curve on the AstroTurf. Sort of caught it and then didn't catch it. And it and said, "Oh, I already tapped it. And I thought, oh, it'll only be the wing that comes off, but then the wheel pops off as well."
Well, it was a massive accident there. It's an absolute travesty to see that happen. We know the Haas has some speed. Your teammate Frisbee was able to put it on the front row, but immediately plummeted back to the back of the grid on the run down to turn 1. Do you think it's possible to get this machine into points paying positions once XRRL gets underway normally?
With people like Frisbee in it,
Okay. Well, again, it is a shame to see you out thus early, barely a tenth of the way into the race. Hopefully you'll be able to put a better show on in your show for your run in X1 tomorrow.
Cheers, man.
Peace out. Alright. So Beastia now is in the frustrating position where he has been trapped a lap down. He had made a pit stop to put on fresh, soft tires. Now he is a lap down compared to everyone else. His teammate TIR Flavor in the points still. The next two drivers up from Beastia, Mr. Anderson and Frisbee, they have yet to catch the back of the grid. However, they are still on the lead lap, and that will be a significant benefit for them. So just waiting for Frisbee and Anderson to properly catch the back of the grid, and we are looking at going green on lap 10. Pace car is not pulled away, so we will be running lap 9 under the safety car. But lap 10, we will be going green flag here. That's the anticipation. No one, again, oh no, I take the back. Lowe is electing to come into the pits. Now he had already relatively fresh softs on the car. This is going to drop him to the back of the grid. He already wasn't in points main position. This will drop him to the back of the grid. He could probably elect to put on a set of mediums or hards and run a large portion of the race. And there's your answer. He is serving the time penalty under the safety car, so it will not affect him later in the race. And on that car, though, they are equipping another set of soft tires, so he is going to be flying at the start of this race, potentially, and will not have any time penalties against him. In fact, with that in mind, this means that Lowe, although he is still the only person with a time penalty, that penalty is only at 3 seconds worth. And we will likely see other drivers incur penalties as this race goes on. So yeah, this will be good for the red Ferrari driver. I almost said Red Bull Ferrari. The red car, that's a Ferrari. His teammate, though, Davis Khan, in second, running behind Raptor. And for Raptor, a potential XRL career-defining run all of last season in the Mercedes. It was struggle after struggle, struggling, barely finished, not even finishing half the races. And of the races he did finish, it was extremely rare for him to even make it into the points-paying positions. But coming into this game, he got to move up to the Red Bull for the last few races. He's put on some incredible drives. He's back in the Mercedes now, but the way that these cars have been rebalanced with the most recent patch, the Mercedes seems to be faster, still a little bit twitchy. You saw Raptor rip off his front wing in Q2, but it's not been too much of an issue for him in the race. He got the pole. He started on the pole and easily led into turn 1, and he has led every single lap. We're going to ride on board with Raptor. He got wrecked out in the dev race. After a stack up on a restart like this one, now it's his position to cause a stack up. Look at Sasha Andre with a run on Davis Khan as they come to the green flag, but he couldn't make it stick. And Frisbee, with an accident coming to the green flag, is going to take him out. But Raptor sails wide, sails far. He clatters into Davis Khan. There's contact. Sasha into the wall. He's into the McLaren. There's damage everywhere. Everything's gone sideways on the circuit. Raptor has the lead, but they think their car's damaged. Davis Khan, who is second, is damaged. He's holding up the McLaren Stone Shuffle. Stone Shuffle has to see if he can let Hurricane by. Now Sasha Andre, that's Liquor. Liquor's flying through the field. Davis Khan off circuit again, and everything has gone wrong. And the very thing that Raptor was complaining about from the he was slow getting to the power, coming onto the main straight, and then, even worse, he was not able to make turn 1 properly. There was collision amongst the top 2, and it's led to a spiral of chaos throughout the entire grid here. But it looks like the damage to the car is minimal. He is going to stay out for now. But for Raptor, who complained about dirty restart tactics in the dev race, now doing the same thing himself, very early on, mind you, in the XRRL race. And that's only compounded by the fact that he missed the braking zone for turn 1. Now it's Ollie. It's still a Ferrari-powered car, but it's Ollie who is up in the 2nd position. Ledger has worked his way into 3rd. Stone Shuffle somehow hasn't actually lost a lot. He's still in 4th. For James Jan and Sasha Andre, 2 drivers who are fighting the top spots, they are now out of the points-paying positions in 12th and 13th. Stone Shuffle right there behind Ledger. Ledger seems to be struggling with that Williams just a little bit. Stone Shuffle is right there. He has Ryan Hurricane behind him, and so is Zola. So this could be a very interesting fight for this position. Ollie is also putting pressure on Raptor for the lead, but there is no DRS yet. Zola off circuit, but no moves yet. He made the dive and made contact with Hurricane. And is there wing damage to Zola? Yes, Zola. He either has wing damage or he runs off. Oh, but he missed pit lane entry. He has to cuts back across. He's going to earn a penalty for that in the process. DRS has been enabled now. And Ollie, right there behind Raptor, will have DRS on him on this little straight. He's not closest to make a move here, but he can do it in the following straight. Stone Shuffle, though, will have DRS. Well, I thought he'd have DRS on Ledger. Apparently not. Frisbee by Zola. Zola is still in the pit lane, so Zola might even fall behind James John as well. And for Lowe, who pitted on the yellow flag on fresh sauce, he has gone from 2nd to last up to 7th, and is now putting pressure on Flavor. Oh, and Hurricane is off, and the entire front wing's off. Swirly has to go off circuit to avoid him. That's a yellow flag in the sector, but we're going to stay under green flag conditions, but this will drop Hurricane likely out of the points-paying positions. And Raptor has lost the lead. He is spun out of the lead. Ollie now takes the lead, and Raptor, who was the cause for that massive stack up on the restart, who has been dominating the first 11 laps of this race from the pole, has now fallen from 1st to 8th. And this race continues to turn itself on its head. And now there's a car that's off back there. That's Sasha. Sasha and the Williams has had an accident in Sector 2. And he's out. Sasha Andre with a massive accident. He spun. The tires were overheated, and he's wrecked the car. We saw the same thing in Dev twice. Now we see it in XRRL. And it's out for Sasha. And everything, I mean everything about this race has been turned on its head multiple times over. BCN will now end up in 13th position. And this man here, Ollie, has done mad charges up through the field. Wasn't even near the front row, but made numerous overtakes and has been able to capitalize on everyone else's misfortune. He now is in control of this race. So now, for XRL Ollie, leading the race. We're going to try and get Sasha Andre into the party, see what in the world happened. But this entire race, completely out of control, it seems, when it comes to predictability. It's going to be a long time before we gather up behind the pace car. Now coming into the party is Sasha Andre. Sasha, it's a shame to see you out so early. Include your audio. Can you hear us? Sasha, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Alright. Sasha, it's a shame to see you out of the race, but before we get to talking about the race, I do want to ask about qualifying. You seem to have a lot of trouble getting clean laps going throughout qualifying. Is there something wrong with the setup in that Williams today?
I don't know, it might be the setup as well, but the car in general is so efficient to drive, but yeah, it's pretty hard to control it, especially in sector 2, because you look up really easy going to the corner.
Alright, well, we were watching you when you had that spin in the race, and then that was followed by an accident in the very next corner where the tires just too hot at that point.
Yeah, I think the tires were too overheated after the first spin, and I think I had to come back on the track fast, and I think, yeah, I spun and my bad. It was a shame.
Alright, now...
Next car is that.
Yeah, I do want to ask, would you go ahead and elaborate what you saw on that restart that was just utter chaos? What did you see from your position?
I was right behind the leaders, like first place and second place. I think Red lost it into the Ferrari, and then he bounced back into me, and I've been pushed into the wall, and then from the wall I've been bounced back into Zola, and then I've been bounced back into the wall.
It was a chaotic restart. I do have to ask. So out of curiosity, did you see the dev race that happened earlier today?
I didn't watch it today.
Okay, so in the dev race, there was a restart late in the event where the leader backed up the field, and that led to a massive multi-car incident throughout the race. Not enough to bring a yellow flag, but 3 different drivers DNF'd from it. Do you think that Ledger backed up the field in a similar position, which caused the chaos on that restart?
But Raptor, I think, was leading.
I'm sorry, Raptor, not Ledger, yeah.
I mean,
do you think Raptor backed up the field and that directly caused the incident, or do you think that was just racing?
I mean, the leader has to control the pace, so that's what he wants to do. But yeah, I mean, it was racing, he lost the car, and then unfortunately his car bounced back into my car. That's racing. Unlucky racing, but yeah.
Alright, well, it's a shame to see you out, Sasha. It's always wonderful watching you drive the Williams to incredible runs. We've seen you do it multiple other times throughout XRRL, and we'll be looking forward to your return, hopefully next week.
Yeah, it was nice. Hey, yeah.
Yep. Alright, so now the focus on the circuit goes back to XRL Ollie. And honestly, if this race was to end now, I would think Ollie could honestly earn the title for driver of the day. He did not even start close to the front row, but has made numerous overtakes on his own, capitalized on other people's misfortune. Now, he is the leader, and he is the one who is going to control the field, and is going to be Sasha's teammate Ledger, who is going to be putting pressure on coming to the line. Lowe, back there in fourth, is on still relatively fresh, soft tires, so Lowe could really play spoiler for this race. Coming to the green flag here. 12 drivers on the lead lap, and a 13th one just 1 lap down. This race is not even close to over. We're barely over a fifth of the way through. Ledger trying to get good power down, but he cannot keep up with Ollie whatsoever. But the top 2 are gone, as Lowe is already trying to do something against Stone Shuffle. He wants to get into the podium spots. The McLaren is still dropping sparks as they put down the brakes going into 1. And Lowe is now ahead of Stone Shuffle. There's only 2 cars between Lowe and the lead now after being all the way down in 14th at one point in this race. Jameson is in the pits trying to repair damage. TIR Flavor also is now in 5th, and he has relatively fresh medium tires as well. So things could get very interesting here. Frisbee has lost the position to Hurricane, and Raptor has gotten by Zola farther up. So they are very racy here in the mid-pack. Now they're in Sector 2, very choppy, start and stoppy throughout this entire portion of the racetrack. And Raptor's around! And Raptor is around all on his own, after clattering the Mercedes over the curbs, and after dominating the first 11 and a half laps of this race, it seems like the wheels are coming off Raptor in the Mercedes train. So for Frisbee, he is now back in the points paying positions. And the car behind him is a lapped car of level 6 Beast, so he doesn't have to worry too much about him. But look at this battle here between Ryan Hurricane and XRRL Zola. But again, no DRS for next few laps, so Hurricane just needs to stay in contact with Zola until DRS becomes a factor or until Zola makes a mistake over the curbs. We've seen him do that earlier. Near the front though, Ollie has opened up a 7-10 second gap. Lowe there is already trying to make moves on Ledger. Even without the help of DRS, he has soft tires, and hopefully he doesn't burn them off to the point that they're useless for him once DRS starts being a factor. Right behind the Williams is that Ferrari. There's the McLaren and Stone Shuffle about a second behind. Can't really get anywhere good to overtake throughout this sector, sector 2. Lowe right there, still behind Ledger, can't make it stick, can he? But he's going to try, I imagine, on the front straightaway. He does have, with the soft tires, an advantage of having a potentially better exit coming out of the corners and can go a lot harder on braking as long as he is not too excessive on the wear. He's already on the inside of Ledger, but it's going to compromise his momentum exiting the corner. And there's still no DRS. DRS will be enabled on the following lap though, but Lowe might try and make this move going into one. Ledger crosses over, defends the inside. Lowe doesn't care. He'll hold on to the outside. He's going to be a wider line all the way around, and he's still there. He's got a fast enough exit. He'll make the overtake without DRS on the soft tires. Now there's this one more car between Lowe and the leader, and that is Ollie, your current race leader. So Lowe might take the lead in this race. With the pole setter and both of our front row starters, all intents and purposes, out of this race, out of the top 9 altogether, the entire event has really opened up. Oh, and Ryan Hurricane's out! And Beastian had nowhere to go, and he clambered into Ryan Hurricane and has spun in the process. Oh! Wow, I don't know how that wasn't an incident, but that was Raptor, I believe, who just barely gripped Ryan Hurricane's machine. It was either Raptor or Frisbee. But that's a full course safety car once more. And for Lowe, aggravation because he could have caught Ollie on his own. But the tires are still relatively good. Lowe could still get this. But now Ryan Hurricane out of the race. We're going to try and get him in here to hear what he has to say about this accident. And here we are. Yellow flag pit stops. Ollie is in the pits, Lowe is in the pits, Ledger is staying out, but Stone Shuffle's in the pits, TIR Flavor is staying out, Smoothie 25 is staying out, Mr. Anderson is staying out, Zola is staying out, Frisbee, what's he gonna do? He's gonna stay out, Raptor is coming in, Jabus John, what's he gonna do? But the entire race order been changed now for our third safety car of the day. Well, second full course car, third overall if you want to count Berkos, and Jabus will stay out, so he might be able to overtake Raptor. And level 6 Beastian spun in the instant with Ryan Hurricane, but he's still in the race without damage. So now it's changed. Ledger is now up front with TIR Flavor and Smoothie 25 behind him. And of note, Ledger has not made a pit stop yet. These are the same set of tires that he started the race on. He's the only driver in that position. Now for Ollie, he is on softs again, and everyone ahead of him is on hards or mediums that already have a lot of wear on them. Ollie again could start running upwards through the field at an incredible clip. Then you have Lowe. Lowe is on fresh medium tires, so he will be out there for a long time. He'll likely eventually inherit the race lead, unless the leaders get way, way far away. And then behind Frisbee, he has not made a stop yet, but he is now back into the 8th position in the Haas. The interesting thing is going to be this man here, XRRL Ledger. oldest tires in the grid, but he will have fresh air on that Williams front wing. So we will be going green lap 21. It's been a messy race to say the least, but the entire field has caught up. No one seems to be coming into the pit lane anymore. Everyone knows what tires are on. They're going to stick with them. Again, Ollie is going to be the man to watch. He actually got ahead of Lowe in the pits. I'm not sure if Lowe was serving a time penalty that may have missed, or if Ollie just got a little bit luckier. But Ollie is now ahead of Lowe. Ollie charged up from about this part of the field all the way up to second on merit. Most of those overtakes coming without DRS. In fact, all those overtakes, I think, came without DRS assist. And now he has he has fresh sauce compared to everyone else running more mediums and hard tires. So Ollie going to be in a very good position. Also on the same note, Raptor, if Raptor can keep from spinning out in Sector 2, he could make up some good positions quickly. But again, here's the thing to watch. Smoothie 25, TIR Flavor, Ledger, 3 drivers up near the front with more mediums. Flavor, we hardly ever see him in the top 3 on pace, but he's qualified into the top 10 on actual pace. Yeah, we only had 16 drivers in the race, but on pace, he easily made it into Q3. He was the fastest at the end of Q2 and qualified very well in Q3. He's been competitive. He's not been off pace just gaining positions by avoiding time penalties. He's actually been legit competitive on his own. Now he's second, might have a shot to win because at the race lead because the driver ahead of him is on older tires. This could end up being a very interesting race restart. We are going to choose to watch this race restart on board XRRL Ollie on the soft tire compounds because he is going to explode out of this final corner with a bucket load of speed, and he will likely be trying to make overtakes on the McLaren by the time they get into turn 1 like we saw earlier. Coming to the green flag, Ledger holding the entire field up. Now he's underway. Flavor is not keeping up as well as he wanted, but everyone from 3rd to 5th not on top of it. Zola on the inside of Mr. Anderson. He's gonna maybe get him by outbreaking him down the straightaway. Although that McLaren is still grinding down against the bottom of the track. Low on the outside of Ollie. Frisbee jumped to the inside of Ollie, and Ollie falls from 6th to 9th. We thought he would gain position. He's actually lost a bunch. Now he's right there in a pack of cars, and this is going to be horrible for his tires. Chaos throughout the midfield. Ollie gets back by Stone Shuffle, though. And now sees Frisbee ahead. Frisbee is on worn hard tires, and Ollie needs to capitalize. Low farther up, looking at the inside of Mr. Anderson. And the Ferrari can't make it stick, and the Ferrari is going to go flying backwards through the grid, down to the 10th position. Might even lose that to Raptor. But Ollie is there behind Frisbee, and Frisbee is being held up by Mr. Anderson. They're coming to a shortish straight here, and Ollie has a good exit speed. He looks to the inside of Frisbee. Frisbee throws the block. Ollie can't make anything happen yet. But the Haas seems to be bouncing all over the circuit for the moment. The suspension in that thing does not seem happy at all. Mr. Anderson is actually getting away from the Haas right now. Ollie's going to have a good exit against Frisbee down the straightaway. He pulls behind Frisbee to get the draft. Now he looks to the outside. Frisbee crossing over, going to pinch Ollie to the outside. Ollie under heavy braking around the outside. Can he make it stick? Yes, he will, because that Haas, the entire suspension is not working on that car. Oh, and the Ferrari of Lowe spun again. And now he is down to 11th, so that promotes Raptor back in the points-paying positions. Ollie now in 6th. He has about a second before he catches Mr. Anderson ahead. Davis John now gets ahead of Stone Shuffle. Raptor now gets ahead of Stone Shuffle as well. But at the front, TIR Flavor trying to keep pace with XRRL Ledger. It's been fascinating to watch Flavor's improvement. And now he is competitive on merit. Stone Shuffle is now falling all the way back to 11th. Flavor within DRS range of XRL Ledger. We may see Flavor lead his first laps on pure merit in XRRL. But he needs to get by the Williams in order to do so. On to the main straightaway now. DRS has been enabled. Ledger is taking a more Indianapolis-style line, swerving across the straightaway to break the draft. Flavor not so worried about that. He'll just keep one nice straight line. One advantage is going to be very, very small, but he will not burn his tires up as bad. Frisbee and Stone Shuffle in the pits. I think that Stone Shuffle is repairing damage, and Frisbee is getting off those 20-lap worn hard tires, putting on somewhat worn mediums that were used in qualifying session 2. Flavor seems to have lost the plot of catching Ledger just a bit, but he is still in second on merit, and that is amazing by all intents and purposes. Ollie, though, is in 6th behind Mr. Anderson. He's got the fresher tires than everyone else ahead. Anderson, 20-lap worn hards. And Ollie is going to probably get by Mr. Anderson this next lap. All he needs is some DRS, and he'll easily be able to outbrake Anderson. Going on to the straight. Ooh, Anderson a little bit twitchy there. Ollie's not close enough to capitalize. Zola ahead of Anderson, similar scenario. Zola's tires are a lot fresher, but they're still, the hard tire compounds don't have nearly the same amount of grip that Ollie does. So Ollie should easily be able to get back into 4th without too much of a problem. Here we go. Anderson has DRS on Zola, is actually pulling down the straight. And Flavor has gotten by Ledger. Flavor, now for the first time is in the lead, but he bottled it. He bottled it under braking, and Ledger gets back to the front. But the fight for the lead is on between Flavor and Ledger. Ollie still there behind Anderson. He's got a good run right now. Does he throw it up the inside? He thinks better of it. He backs off, conserving the tires for the moment, conserving his car, and trying to keep ripping off the front wing in a potential accident. Oh, and Raptor, another spin back there. Turn the focus once more to the lead fight. Flavor will be within DRS range of Ledger. Ledger, 23-lap worn, medium tires. Flavor is only 15-lap worn. So the battle for now when it comes to tire life is in Flavor's favor. He has DRS, as closing rapidly on the straight. Ledger swerves to the inside to defend the inside. Flavor not going to be too aggressive this time. He still has DRS on the following straight, but it's not as long. He's not close enough to make anything happen. Ollie on the inside of turn 2 will get Mr. Anderson. Or really, yes, he does. Anderson cannot keep those hard tires working properly on the outside. So Ollie's now back into 5th. So he's regained all the positions that he lost on the restart. Zola not very good in sector 2. Does Ollie make a move? The entire top 6, top 7, all on top of each other right now. It almost feels more like an X1 race than an XRRL race with the way that the lead pack are all right on top of each other. Ollie's still there behind the McLaren. Will likely make a move on the straight here. Again, the McLaren on worn hards. Not horribly worn hards, but those hards at their best are not comparable to the softs at a medium pace. Ollie with a good run out of the corner. Zola a little bit twitchy over the curves. Now Zola has DRS, and he'll use that as a defense against Ollie. Ollie, does he brake hard? No, he doesn't, but Zola has a problem. When it comes to that McLaren setup, we have seen those McLaren not be able to maximize their straight line speed. They're scrubbing off a lot of speed down the straights. And you can see it from all the sparks coming out from the under tray of them. And we see every now and then other cars like the AlphaTauris or the Red Bulls have a similar problem, but for the McLarens, every time they get above 170 miles an hour or so, the way that the downforce is set up and the springs are set up on that car, it starts dragging the underbody of the McLaren on the ground, and that significantly compromises their straight line speed. And I don't know how realistic this game is when it comes to simulation, but in real life, they can also affect the handling of the car as the race goes on. Oh, here comes Ollie. He's got the move on Zola in Sector 2. Zola can't make it stick. TR Flavor made a mistake. Now Smoothie is making the dive. Smoothie won't make it stick. But Smoothie, yes he will, because TR Flavor messes up in the following corner. And Ollie goes way off circuit, as does McLaren and Zola. And Ollie doesn't actually lose any positions in the process. The McLaren might lose to Anderson. And James John is there as well on relatively fresh hard tires. Everything's gone crazy here. Flavor against Smoothie. He wants second back. He's on the inside. Hard under braking, and he bottles it again. Softs around the outside, can't make it stick. Zola is there. Zola wants to take the spot back. James John ahead of Mr. Anderson, and Lowe is just there on his side. Huge dive by Lowe, pulls along the outside of James John. 2 spots in 1 corner for the Ferrari. In his sights again. Flavor's tires are starting to go on him. Now Ollie's going to make another shot, and not to mention Smoothie is likely going to take a shot at Ledger. Ollie, time penalty for track violations, not going to help him. But Ledger, currently leading the race in the Williams, is going to have to hold off Smoothie 25 in the AlphaTauri. The AlphaTauri has fresher tires and will have DRS. Oh, Ledger, really poor entrance onto the main straightaway. This is going to work out wonderfully in Smoothie's favor. Down the front straightaway to the inside goes Smoothie. What does Ledger do to fight back? Nothing. He'll let him have the spot, but will cross over, and he'll have no, he will not get DRS going onto the second straightaway, but he's right in range. Dives to the inside, can't make it stick though. Zola is still having to deal with Lowe and James John behind. Lowe has a great run on Zola. Will he try and make a crazy launch on the outside again? It does not look like it. The car clatters over the curves and loses a chunk of time. For Ollie, I think the tires might be fading on him just a bit. He's not closed on Flavor as quickly as we were expecting. Oh, and Frisbee is out! And Frisbee is out of the race, and it's a full course safety car. And Frisbee, one of your front row starters, is now out of the race. Completely off circuit as well. So a full course safety car, and Smoothie got by Ledger right before the safety car happened in Sector 2. We totally missed it, sadly. I'm sorry to say. But now, does Ledger come into the pits? No, he's not coming to the pits. Does anyone come in the pits? Ollie in the pits now. He has made numerous. Oh, Ledger did elect to come in the pits. It was a late move, but Ledger's come in. Ollie has come in. James John has come in. Raptor is coming in as well. I don't know about Stone Shuffle or Beastie, but we're going to try and get Frisbee in here to see what happened to take him out of this race. So we're under a full course safety car now. And neither Haas will finish this race. All right, coming into the party right now is L. Frisbee. Frisbee, go ahead, include your audio. What happened that took you out there?
I just got in the power and I lost.
Same thing that we heard from your teammate Ultimate. You have speed in that Haas, though. You were able to qualify it on the front row. What happened at the start there that caused you to lose second, though?
My wheel actually disconnected. Like it was the last force feedback, and then I unplugged it, and then the car just kept going straight on, and I was last place going now, which is then it just kept going worse.
It's an absolute travesty to see that happen. I do have to ask though, do you think that the problems with the Haas can be overcome in later races for you and your teammate?
I think it's kind of track dependent with the Haas, because the Haas is probably one of the best tracks for the Haas, because it's not very fast and straight at all, but it's not very good on power. This the Williams would be really good here. But I think it's maybe Brazil.
Alright, well, it's a shame to see you out again, and hopefully you'll be able to put on a better show for us in that machine next week. Alright, well, now we turn our focus back. Oh, real quickly before you leave, Frisbee went on the restart. There was a restart earlier in the race where the leader bunched up the field and then missed turn 1, and it caused a whole lot of chaos up front. What did you see in that scenario?
I was backwards because I hit the grass, so yeah. But I think the leader should have to let the group go coming out of the last corner instead of holding it until the line. It's safer instead of backing up the whole pack.
Alright, well, thanks for sharing your opinion on that. As we're going to go ahead and turn our focus back to the race. And once again, thank you for being willing to jump into the broadcast booth and sharing what happened and the struggles you've been having with those machines called Haas. Alright, so now we turn our focus back to the track one more time. Mr. Anderson is on 27 lap old hard tires and is only in 5th to show for it. It's just not gone very well for him. But up front, this is going to get really interesting because everyone near the front is on old tires in the top 5 positions. Everyone from 6th on back, though, are on fresh. Ledger is on fresh softs. Jabus is on fresh mediums, as is Ollie and Raptor. And Stone Shuffle is on slightly worn hards. Stone Shuffle did not elect to pit in the last safety car. 10 drivers on the lead lap, so if none of them have a crash or a spin that takes them off the lead lap, those will be the 10 drivers fighting for points. VCN is going to want to see one more driver knocked out. And once again, it's going to be TIR Flavor who is second, but at this point now the medium tires definitely have some wear on them. I don't think there's a whole lot that Flavor can do to fight with Smoothie without potentially leaving himself open from attack from Zola or Lowe. We're going to be right on board with Ledger as they come to the green flag here. Pace car is off, and already Smoothie with a good run. TR Flavor could not keep up very well. As we're already down the straightaway, what does Ledger do to Anderson in the Aston Martin? The answer, a hard brake to the inside. And he's going to get it. He'll get the position right off the start. Good job on Ledger's part. Immediately comes up to 5th. They're side-by-side farther up between Lowe and Zola. Stone Shuffle has had an accident farther back in the grid, but he should be able to get back going without too much of an issue. Zola is back in the 4th spot as the Ferrari of Lowe is 3rd, already putting pressure on TIR Flavor. Here comes Ledger to the inside of the McLaren. The McLaren can't seem to make it stick on the hard tire compound. There's contact, and Ledger is out of the race, and the accident has taken Ledger out. A little bit of contact with Zola, and Ledger hits the inside wall and is out of the race altogether. And for Beastian, that's perfect because now he will be in the points-paying positions. Travesty for Ledger, and neither Williams will finish this race. Lowe getting by TIR Flavor in Sector 3 now. There's just one more car between Lowe and the lead. We're going to try and get Ledger into the party real quickly, hear what happened from his perspective. be a very clear breakaway forming between the top three and then everyone from fourth on back. Zola on the hard tires and Mr. Anderson on even more worn hard tires seem to be holding up the rest of the field, letting the top three break away quite a bit here. And even then, Flavor seems to be struggling just a bit to properly keep pace with Lowe and Smoothie. And once Lowe gets by Smoothie here, which I imagine he'll probably do on this main straight, he will shoot out like a cannon, will likely open up a massive gap on the rest of the field. Smoothie trying to take a proper racing line. Low, a lot faster. Ollie by Mr. Anderson, as Anderson cannot keep that car with any speed through these corners. Now here comes Davis gone. Mr. Anderson wants to fight back against Ollie. He has the inside line of choice, but Davis can make a good fight back with medium tires on the outside. He'll hold on to that position. Davis can't do anything. Now putting pressure on Zola. As I said earlier, we seem to see a sort of breakup. Zola not fast enough to keep pace with the top three at all, but just fast enough to keep the people behind him. So we're seeing a breakaway of three cars at the front, Smoothie, Lowe, and Flavor. Ollie is putting pressure on Zola. He's gotten by the McLarens numerous times today. He can do it again. But it's taking away valuable time that he wants, I guarantee it. Flavor has pretty much lost touch, actually, in that little lead pack. Flavor has pretty much lost touch with the lead, too. It's pretty much just become Lowe versus Smoothie, with Flavor just close enough to watch. DRS now in Lowe's favor, so he should be able to overtake Smoothie without too much of a problem in the braking zone. He's going to elect to go on the outside. He has much fresher medium, so he'll be able to keep more speed around the outside. Oh, and he spins! He took the lead and spun right out of the lead! He emerges onto the track, right in the middle of the field. Won't cause an issue, but Lowe from first to eighth in a fraction of a second. And that brought Flavor back into second now. And Ollie has gotten by Zola on the main straight as well. So Ollie will now likely run away from this battle, and he will introduce himself to the fight for the lead. But for Smoothie, his heart had to have gone into his chest there, as now TIR Flavor is going to be able to start putting pressure on him once more. And again, the top two drivers are on 25-lap warm medium tires. The driver in third is on medium tires, only have 4 laps of wear on them. Ollie is going to run them down in a heartbeat hurry. Flavor, can he stay close enough to have DRS against Smoothie? That's the question. I don't think it's going to happen. It looks like Flavor is just not quite as happy with the Red Bull as Smoothie is with his AlphaTauri on these worn tires. He will have DRS on the straight, and that will help him a little bit. But he's not close enough to even make any moves. Actually losing a bit of time to Smoothie down the straight. He'll have DRS on the second straight as well here. Seems to be a little bit better in braking. Makes him a little bit of time into braking, actually. Davis Don now gets by Mr. Anderson, and Lowe is in pit lane, repairing the damage to his Ferrari, so that will drop him down to 9th. Flavor now within about a third of a second of Smoothie. But then he almost immediately starts losing it. The aerodynamic weight of that AlphaTauri ahead is just nothing. Red Bull can't do anything to fight back. Flavor very smooth, avoiding the curbs, very good at keeping clean lap times. Now, Ollie is not closing on these two quite as fast as I thought he would. Flavor actually is a little bit closer to Smoothie now than where he was last lap. So he didn't lose as much time as he did prior. Flavor looking to fight for his first laps led in XRRL. He's closer to Smoothie now than he was last time. Going down the main straight. Heavy under braking, oh! But he had to back out of it, and that's going to compromise his time badly. He will have DRS on the following straight, but he went for it. and ended up losing a bunch of time. Just was not close enough. So Flavor still having to learn quite a bit now that he's no longer just hanging on for his life. He's in a position where he has to fight. He has to learn how to adjust his racing and braking line so he's not compromising his time running behind other drivers. Farther back, Jabazkian is still there behind Mr. Anderson, trying to figure a way by. He's on fresher, softer tires. And he's to his inside, but under braking, he has to back out for this corner. We can't go too wide through this chicane. That works in Anderson's favor. Anderson in the dirt twice there. That little short shoot. And Davis with a good run again. He looks to the inside. He's got to run. Can he make it stick? Yeah, here he comes. Side by side into the braking zone. He's going to commit, and he might just be able to get it. No, because Anderson has the preferred lane. Here comes Raptor to the inside, and Raptor is around. And into the inside wall, and it rips off his front wing, and that's the third different accident of such that we've seen Raptor suffer thus far in this race. After taking the pole in dominant fashion and leading the first 11 laps, it has been travesty after travesty for Raptor. Oh, and Anderson's out! And Anderson has had an accident! He is out of the race at the end of the main straightaway now. He made contact with Jabazkian, though. Well, whether he did or didn't, Mr. Anderson is now out of the race. We're going to try and get him in here to hear what happened. But for Mr. Anderson, an accident on very warm tires. You have to wonder if maybe there was a tire failure as well that may have contributed to that. Raptor throwing on hards that he will run to the end of this race with, as we are now past the halfway point of the event. Ollie has finally caught TIR Flavor. And farther back, Low working on Raptor. Low on fresh mediums, Raptor on fresh hards. Jabez behind Zola, and Ollie going to try and overtake Flavor with some DRS assist down the straight. Is he close enough to make a heavy braking lunge? Looks to the inside. Here it comes. Not close enough to make it stick. Low wants him to be able to make a move there. Low right there on Raptor, though. Low should have DRS on Raptor. But again, Raptor has hard tires. He will not have to worry about pitting again for this race. Down the straight. This should be a very easy overtake for the Ferrari. While the hards are fresh enough to maintain some pace on the outside. Yeah, actually gonna be side by side into two as well. Side by side on the run to three, maybe no. Raptor backs out of it and lets Low have the position. So the focus now goes back to the fight for second. Ollie working on Flavor. Ollie has not gotten to actually lead yet thus far in this race. Actually, I take it back. He did have a moment where he was leading. And Raptor has spun out on his own there in sector two. He gets back underway, though, without too much issue. And Ollie finally is by Flavor. Zola finally by Jabazkian. Although Davis is fighting back on the outside, cannot make anything stick. So despite being on much older and harder tires, Zola actually gets the spot on Jabazkian. And now for Flavor, it is in his interest to use DRS to keep pace with Ollie and let Ollie drag him back up to the leader. It's going to happen. I think Flavor's tires have basically died on him. And I think for Flavor, he might want to consider coming in on the next lap and throwing on another set of mediums to go to the end with. Davis John right there on Zola. Davis has the fresher tires. Down the straight. Ferrari does not seem to be very fast on the straightaway compared to Zola, though. Ferrari seems to be more kitted out for the turns, and that works in Zola's favor. Both those cars slide out a little bit after clappering over that barrier in turn 4. Not barrier, but the rumble strip in turn 4. Also of note, these two are catching TIR Flavor on pace. John with a great run against Zola here. Can't make anything of it, though. Smoothie and Flavor both staying out a little bit longer. Here comes the Ferrari to the inside of the McLaren. Drag race down the straight. And under braking, Ferrari is on the inside. He's got the spot, although Zola is fighting back, but he can't make it stick. He might make a dive to the inside under braking. No, he does not. So Davis John in the Ferrari re-inherits 4th. It's already opening up a gap on the McLaren in 5th. And it was right off the back of Smoothie 25 as Ollie is trying to close in on him and take the win. These two have walked very much away from Flavor at this point, so Flavor car is not holding up under the worn mediums as much as Smoothie is. And as of now, I think Smoothie is going to be the most likely driver to win this race. Because as it stands right now, it's between the top 5. Maybe Stone Shuffle can factor in if he can make those hards last another 29 laps. But I think it's a foul between the top 5. And Smoothie doesn't have any time penalties. Neither does Flavor. Flavor is struggling with pace. Smoothie, not so much. Ollie is there behind Smoothie on fresher mediums, but can't get close enough to make anything stick, or even attempt to make anything stick. Ollie has a good run up through here, but this corner is not an ideal zone for braking and overtaking. Throughout this entire section, you just kind of follow the tracks of the guy ahead as we look at time penalties at this point in the race. You can see 3 seconds against Ollie right now. Smoothie doesn't have any. 3 seconds against Jameson, 6 against Zola, 9 against Lowe, 3 against Beastia. And it's starting to rain. It's actually starting to sprinkle on the racetrack, and this could make things very interesting. The track's going to stay dry for maybe another lap or two, but once it starts wetting up, you're going to want whoever is the driver who times it lucky to put on wets would be great. Here comes Ollie to the inside of Smoothie. He wants the position, and he wants to take it now. And he will get it with a little bit of DRS help. So Ollie finally inherits the lead. He's probably overtaken more cars than anyone else on the track thus far, and Ollie now has the race lead. Flavor actually closed in on Smoothie just a little bit. I think Smoothie's tires are now going off a cliff. Smoothie and Flavor. This could work wonders for them. If the two of them elect to come in and take some intermediate tires now, some intermediate wet tires now, they would be in a great position. The track is getting soaked fast. I'm honestly curious to see if everyone's going to be able to make it to the pit lane. If they all were elect to come in and pit now. Flavor is closed in significantly on Smoothie. As has Jabus Dawn. Who comes in to put on intermediate tires at this point? The leader stays out. Smoothie is staying out. Flavor is staying out. Jabus Dawn is staying out. Zola staying out. Stone Shuffle is still a ways back, so we don't know what his decision is going to be. DRS is still active as well, and Flavor could use that against Smoothie. Not going to go too hard. He seems to be holding back for the moment. But all of a sudden, Flavor is looking a lot quicker now. And Ollie is actually not pulling away from these two. He's got ahead of them, and he's opened up on Smoothie, but Flavor and Jabus Dawn have actually closed on Ollie. Smoothie is going to be the spanner in the works for Flavor and Jabus Dawn. With the Red Bulls almost off circuit there. The track is wet. They have to pit this lap, I imagine. Raptor is in the pits now. He will likely throw on a set of intermediate tires and will try and make those go to the end. Yep, there it is. Raptor on intermediates. Will be the first one to do it, and he might be able to gain some good spots by making that choice early. What about our leaders? Ollie now opening up the gap on everyone behind because Smoothie is holding up the field badly. Oh, you can see tire tracks now from Smoothie. These guys have to pit now for intermediates. And here we go. Ollie is in the pits. Smoothie is in the pits. Flavor is in the pits. John is in the pits. Zola, is he going to pit? Yes, he will. Stone Shuffle is still a long ways back, but I imagine he's going to pit as well. Lowe will probably do the same thing as will Beastian. But for Raptor, it's going to be a small advantage. Not a great one, but a small one because he was on the intermediates earlier. That will be at least one lap advantage. DRS has been turned off. So with DRS disabled, everything now changes. Ollie, Smoothie, and Flavor are your contenders for the race win at this point in the race. Ollie has a time penalty of 3 seconds against him, but he's more than 3 seconds ahead of Smoothie for the moment. Can he maintain that gap in the wet? Beastian, a spin. He had not yet made it to pit lane to put on new tires. I imagine we'll see him go ahead and come into pit lane to put on fresh rubber. But this fight for second is very much alive. Flavor there behind Smoothie and Jabus Dawn looking to capitalize when these two get into it. There is no more DRS. Seems to be struggling a little bit with the intermediate tires. He's not been able to make the apexes quite as smoothly as you'd expect. He gets a good exit out of the final corner, though. He's actually able to run just a little bit closer to Smoothie and open a gap against Jabus Dawn, though. And that's level 6 Beastian, who's ahead. There's going to be a bit of a spanner of the works for Smoothie. Oh, and Beastian just pulls all the way off the circuit to let them by. That'll be appreciated. I'm not saying that like insulting or anything. That actually will be appreciated. Ollie opening up a gap on Smoothie, Flavor, and Davis John. These three just do not seem to be as well hooked up on the wet weather tire as he is. No other real battles on the racetrack right now. It's all these fights for the lower two steps on the podium. If anything, it seems like Flavor is losing touch with Smoothie as well, so it looks like it's going to be between Flavor and Davis Young for third. The question also is going to be, can these drivers make the intermediate tires last to the end of the race? There's still 23 laps to go. Oh, Flavor! And a spin, but he's able to get back away with it. And there's no damage to the Red Bull, but he will lose third to Davis John and fall to fourth. So the Red Bull not as well hooked up as he'd hoped. So now for Davis John, his fight is going to be with Smoothie 25 for the second position now. Also of note, Lowe is catching Stone Shuffle on merit, so Lowe might be able to regain at least one more position after he was fighting for a lead, and literally the split second that he took the lead, he spun and crashed. He was able to continue going, but it took him from being a win contender to trying to see if maybe he can pull something out of his rear end and fight his way into the top 5. Even if he gets by Stone Shuffle, it will be another 25 seconds up the road until he even gets a chance at Shuffle's teammate Zola. Though way faster than Stone Shuffle through here. Might be able to make a move if Stone Shuffle just has a little bit of a twitch in that McLaren. There's a twitch, but there's no room through that portion of the racetrack. Ooh, a little twitch from the Ferrari now. Go neck and neck for the position. Around the outside goes the Ferrari. And he's got him. Maybe the twist, the same area that Lowe spun out and hit the inside wall at earlier. It's not going to be an issue for him this time. He holds his position over Stone Shuffle. It's still 26 seconds up the road until he gets to Zola, though. And with 22 laps to go, I'd be interested to see if he can even do anything to the other McLaren, if he even catches him before race end. The focus now, in my opinion, goes to the battle for second and third. And not just that, Ollie is losing pace, and Smoothie and Javis Dunn are both closing on him right now. Zola time penalty for track violations. TIR Flavor, who is factoring for the win, has basically taken himself out of it, and James John hard into the inside wall. He's out of it. And that's a full course safety car, and the entire field is going to get gathered up. Horrible news for James John, but this is going to be great for Lowe because now he gets a chance to catch back up with the leaders. And Beastian had a spin or something as well in the process. So now there are only 8 cars left, and we're going to try and get James John in here and see if he'd be willing to share what happened from his perspective. Fighting for the win in the rain, and the car slid out from him. Lowe, Stone Shuffle, Raptor all came in and threw on new, fresh, intermediate tires. So their tires will be a little bit better. Not a lot, but a little bit better than the cars ahead. But it's going to be a long safety car because Ollie is going to be a long time until he even gets to the little straight after turn 1 where the safety car is. And that's assuming that he's not going to pit. Will he pit? No, he's going to hold on to the top spot. Smoothie is going to hold on. TIR Flavor, he's going to hold on. And all of a sudden, Flavor is back in contention for this race win. Because although he doesn't have pace, he does have the advantage of no time penalties. While everyone ahead of him still either have a time penalty or at risk of getting one. Zola is elected to come into the pits, and he has 48 seconds on low. So he can do that, and his tires will be, although it will be by a small amount, it will only be 1 lap fresher than the ones behind. Down to only 8 cars, and only 7 of them still on the lead lap. So today's XRRL race at Hungary has been sponsored by Rat Poison. Rat Poison, the official plot device for the movie Flowers in the Attic. Now sponsoring and being the plot device for this race. As we started with 16 cars and only half of them are still in the race at this point. And only 7 of those 8 are still on the lead lap. And with this yellow flag bunching the field back up, and the fact that except for Zola, I think everyone's... Oh, so Zola and Lowe both have a lot of time penalties. It's not going to help them. But now, Ollie's in fight for the win. Smoothie is in fight. Flavor is in fight. Stone Shuffle and Raptor are all in fight for the win. I don't see any way Zola or Lowe win this race, though, unless everyone around them starts earning a lot of time penalties. But Zola and Lowe are now in potential spots to fight for podium positions, depending on how things go. But, yeah, this entire race has just been turned on its head again. The other thing is that Raptor is still half a lap down. We're probably not even going to get a chance to go green until maybe lap 53 or later. So, and again, Zola will have slightly fresher... Zolas will have slightly fresher tires than everyone behind him and fresher tires than everyone in front of him. But fresh tires on intermediates don't typically mean as much as they would on softs or mediums. The thing is, we were looking at trying to push these intermediates a full 25 laps in this race, assuming the track doesn't dry out in the last moments. I think for everyone from 4th on back, that will work good for them. But again, Zola and Lowe have time penalties they're going to have to be dealing with. That's not something the top 3 really have to suffer with. Ollie does have 3 seconds of time penalties, but all it takes is a few good laps. He can pull away from Smoothie enough that it's not an issue. And Smoothie, if he does keep pace with Ollie and stays right behind the Alfa Romeo in the lead, he still could fight for this win. And the crazy thing is Raptor, who has had 4 different spins and accidents today, he has put himself back into potential race green contention. We only have 7 cars on the lead lap, and due to all the time penalties, 2 of them really can't do anything. There you are, BCN now officially ahead of James John at this point. So yeah, Raptor still 12.5 seconds out from Stone Shuffle. So it will be a while until the field's all gathered up. I think they should be all gathered up by the end of this lap. We should be going green lap 53. Lowe finally catching the back of the grid here. Stone Shuffle will do the same very shortly. It's a little bit harder to catch up and gather up the field under the rain. If you don't want to spin out under safety car, it would just be simply embarrassing. After still 12 seconds out from the back, and there is level 6 BC in between. The lights are still on the safety car, so we may go another lap. Yeah, it looks like we're going to go another lap under yellow. So that's good news for Raptor. He will get a chance to properly gather catch up to the back of the field. So we'll be going green lap 54 then. 17 to go. Oh, and Lowe is electing to come into the pit lane. What the devil for? Are they putting on another set of intermediates? Yes, they are. Another set of... No, he is putting on full wets. So Lowe seems to think that the track has gotten even wetter to the point that full wets will be the way to go. And here's the other thing. I don't think he's going to have time to catch the back of the grid. If he's right, he is going to be light years faster than everyone else on track. He still has a lot of time penalties to deal with. But if everyone else has to pit under green and he did his under yellow, it's going to be wonderful for him. I could see maybe where that idea came from. So Lowe in the Ferrari with a high-risk, potentially high-reward move. He is going to be 7th. BCN moves aside to let him by. This will be very interesting to watch. A very interesting contingency of cars will be fighting for this race win. I think this honestly puts Lowe in contention for the win if this is the right choice. Because if everyone else doesn't realize they need to get onto intermediates until a lap or two into the stint, they could lose huge amounts of time that they might not be able to make back up against the Ferrari. Safety car in this lap, there's the word. So we will be going green with 17 laps to go. Ollie is going to be leading the field to the green flag with Smoothie and TIR Flavor behind. Zola is 4th, but with 9 seconds of time penalty, he's going to just be fighting to try and get back into the podium positions more than trying to fight for the win. It's these 3 cars fighting for the win with maybe a crazy outside shot from Stone Shuffle, Raptor, or Lowe. Pace car is in. Coming to the green flag. Smoothie is not very close to Ollie as they put the power down. The leader got a great jump. Zola has a good jump on TIR Flavor for the 3rd position and the final step on the podium. They're neck and neck, hard under braking. On the inside is the McLaren, and with the fresher intermediate tires, he will take the position. So Zola up into 3rd. But again, he has a lot of time penalties against him. He's already trying to put pressure on Smoothie. A little bit of contact, ring to rear wheel. And around the outside, he's by. Zola is by Smoothie now. So Zola, 2 spots in a single sector. He is now 1.1 seconds out from Ollie. What can he do to the Alfa Romeo, who has led the last bit of this race? Also of note, Lowe is still there behind Raptor. Lowe on the full wets. Everyone ahead is on intermediates. Everyone from 3rd on back seems to be all gathered up right now. If Lowe is right, and these full wets are the way to go, we should start seeing him flying up the grid quickly. At least I anticipate that's what we would see. But it's not happened yet. but he seems to be struggling to gain onto the power coming onto the main straight. As Raptor is looking for a move against Stone Shuffle down the straight. He thinks better of it. It's a way too high-risk move for him. But hold on to 6 for the moment. But at the front, Zola and Ollie breaking away from the rest of the field, with both of these two drivers have time penalties, everyone from third on back. Both third to 6 currently do not. Low, time penalty for track violations. A switch from Ollie. Here comes Zola on the outside through the chicane that you're not supposed to go side by side through. They made it side by side. They're still side by side. They're still side by side. They're still side by side. They make contact. They're still side by side. And they both go off. They both lost a bunch of time, but Zola has muscled and brute forced his way by Ollie. And now Zola has to start outrunning the time penalties that he has occurred in this race. Now Ollie comes back. I don't know if Zola pulled over or let Ollie by or not, but Ollie goes back to the front, and Zola is there in second. This is what Smoothie and Flavor wanted to see. Flavor now looking at the inside of Smoothie as Zola is still right there behind Ollie. Smoothie coming into the pits. Zola, Ollie, neck and neck down the front straightaway. Flavor is close enough to watch this battle as it goes on. And it's going to go to Zola for now. Does Ollie make another dive at the end of the straight? Under braking, he looks to the inside. He's there. They make contact again, and he's around. And Ollie, who has led a significant chunk of this race, spins out of the first corner and is going to fall all the way down to the 6th position. Smoothie in the pits is selected upon the full wet weather tires, and Ollie is having trouble getting running. The car seems to be stuck in the geometry of the racetrack. And now he's been disqualified from it. Complete bolt, but that's the way it goes. So now, TIR Flavor is your race leader when you factor a penalty count back, because Zola has a bunch of time penalties he'll have to serve. We're going to try and get Jabez John in here and see what he has to say. Sorry, not Jabez John. XRRL Ollie in here and hear what he has to say about that bull crap. Zola off circuit there. It's not looking good for him. Flavor is just trying to hold steady. Stone Shuffle is behind, as is Raptor, Low, and Smoothie. But I don't know if anyone can even make moves even with faster tires, because the track is just that wet. Flavor also needs to make these tires last to the end of this race. That's going to be another 15 laps of wear on them. Only 7 cars left in the race at this point. Low has not been able to make a single overtake on the full wet tires. Smoothie has only been on them for a very short period of time, and he's way off pace compared to the rest of the field. And I don't think he's really closing right now either. Flavor needs to hold Stone Shuffle behind him as long as he can. Stone Shuffle, time penalty for track violations. That's exactly what Flavor wants to see. He is going to factor into winning this race on penalty countback once more, but he needs to keep those cars behind him for the rest of this race, or at least as long as possible. Raptor, your pole setter, has just gone around again. He spins out of the 4th position. Falls only to 5th because we have so few cars left on track, and only 6 of them on the lead lap. There's not, even if you have a spin, you're not going to actually lose a lot of time anymore. Zola, another time penalty for track violations. As we look at penalties, Zola has 12 seconds, Stone Shuffle has 3, Low has 15. This looks like it will become a battle between Flavor, Stone Shuffle, and Raptor, all based on penalty countback and where they are on the track and minimizing accidents. Low has still not been able to make a single overtake on the full wet tires, and I don't think that's a problem with the tires. Oh, wow, a big push out of the final quarter, but I don't think the problem is with the tires. What I'm seeing here is that even though the wet weather tires are the ideal tires to go with, this track is so tight, so narrow, and so many parts of this track are so start and stoppy. What it produces is a scenario where you can't even set yourself up for an overtake unless the driver ahead makes has a massive mistake. As it stands right now, although Flavor is losing time to Zola, Zola has enough time penalties against him that Flavor could still win this race on penalty countback just because I don't think Stone Shuffle or Low can get by him. Flavor's biggest problem is going to be staying within about 12 seconds of Zola and making sure those tires don't die and not spinning out. It's a thing that Low is out! Low is out of the race! The other Ferrari is out! And there's a virtual safety car! And now there are only 6 cars left in the event. And Low, one of the drivers who are looking to be a factor for this race win, is now out. And that's a full course. It's been changed. It's become a full course safety car. So who pits? Alright, coming into the party right now is XRRL Low. Low, go ahead and include your audio. Accident that took you out in the back straightaway. What happened back there?
It was weird. They're calling for heavy rain, and the wet tires didn't do anything. They did not help one bit. And it looks like the inters was the right choice. So I was fighting with the car instead of just being able to flow, just like everyone else. So I pushed a little bit too hard. But overall, even though I crashed a bunch of times, came back, almost had first place. Like, I'm so happy with my race. I don't, it doesn't bother me that much that I crashed this much, but oh my goodness, the pace I had today was amazing.
I just have to ask your opinion now. 16 drivers started this race. There are only 6 left on track, and only 5 of them on the lead lap at that. You have Zola, who has a bunch of time penalties against him. Flavor, who is on very old tires.
Yeah.
Stone Shuffle with time penalties. Raptor, who has wrecked 5 different times today. And Smoothie, who is on the same wet tires that you were on earlier. I'm going to be honest, here in the booth, I don't know if any of those 5 could win this race. Who do you think could win out of those 5?
I want Smooth to win. I want Smoothie to win, 100%. Like, I think that if he comes into the pit, puts on the inters, switches it up a little, I think he'll be able to push the pace, get past Raptor and get past Stone, and maybe have a little fight with Flavor. But since Zola has the time penalties, he'll be pushed back. So I'm thinking Smoothie might have this, in my personal opinion. So I'm pushing for this guy. I hope he gets it. Gets the inters on and goes.
Alright, it's a very weird scenario in any level of XRL where you've had this much close racing all day long. Honestly, I thought last week at Portimao we had one of the best XRL races ever. I think this one is on the same level, even though we've had so many DNFs. This honestly has been a very, very engaging race to watch. And Lo, I want to say very much thank you very much for adding your hat to that rain and making this race so intense and amazing.
Oh, I knew there was a couple spots where you probably freaked out where I was doing some crazy stuff.
The only sad thing, Lo, is that you're not the only one doing all those crazy things. I've been watching Jabus. John has been doing this stuff. Ollie's been doing crazy stuff today.
Nice.
It's been nutty all day.
That's
so
good.
if I've missed something from you, please don't take it the wrong way.
No problem,
There's
sir.
like 5 of you guys going nuts out
No
there.
problem, sir. Oh my god. I'm pretty sure on turn 5 or 6, the uphill, I made a pass by 2 people in that spot. It was
Yes, I was riding on board with your teammate. I was riding on board with your teammate as you did that, and that was the most badass thing I have ever seen, ever. It was amazing.
I can't believe I pushed the pace there. Oh my god. That had me. I can't wait to watch that clip and put it in the chat. Oh my goodness.
Alright, well, we're coming to the end of the race. If
Yes,
you want to
sir.
stay in the booth to watch the end,
Yeah, I definitely
feel
can.
free to. Alright, feel free to, because it's going to be a 5-man fight for the end, and who knows, this race has been crazy enough. I'm going to say that level 6 Beastian, despite being 2 laps down, might still factor into a podium.
Hey, you never know. With no time penalties, whew, you never know. Because these guys,
Well, Beastian, I think Beastian says that he's 2 laps down, and although he has time penalties, all it takes is just 3 more DNFs, he's all of a sudden on the podium. I'm not saying that will happen,
Right.
but it's very, very likely with how chaotic this race has been.
Oh, this race has been amazing. I'm so pumped right now. I'm still pumped. Even though I wanted to pull off, I'm still super happy.
You have every right to be. All right, coming to the green flag. Safety cars coming in, and we will have 10 laps to go. We're still under very wet conditions. The game says it's full wet weather tires are the tires to go with. Smoothie has those tires equipped. Everyone ahead is on intermediates that have some level of wear. Zola trying to fight back from time penalties, as is Stone Shuffle. BC is going to try and fight back from 2 laps down. Here comes Stone Shuffle. He's on the inside of TIR Flavor, neck and neck for the second position, which will become the battle for a lead. And Stone Shuffle gets by Flavor, can't hold the position.
Come on, Smooth.
And now Raptor to the inside of Flavor. The tires are gone on Flavor's car. He's going to fall now down to the 4th position. Here comes Smoothie. He's going to try and force Flavor down to 5th. They make a little bit of contact, but Smoothie is now in the 4th position. Raptor, who was spun out numerous times today, is back into the race contention because he is 3rd with no time penalties, and the 2 McLarens ahead have them.
Smoothie made a great pass on Flavor. Wow, that was intense. Come on, buddy, you got it.
Raptor fighting for his first win in XRRL. He has come close a few times this year, not in any points pain raises.
No.
Smoothie, time penalties. That's going to hurt him significantly, and that works in Flavor's favor. If Flavor can just make those tires last to the end.
Oh no, Raptor has a really good chance of winning this now because of the extra time penalty that Smoothie just got. Oh my goodness.
As it stands right now in time penalties, Stone Shuffle has 3 seconds, Zola has 12, Smoothie has 3 seconds, and Beastian, he has 3 seconds, but he's 2 laps down, it's not really going to factor in. If Raptor can stay within 3 seconds of Stone Shuffle to the end of this race, he will win this race from the pole after leading only the first 11 laps and then having 4 distinctly different crashes.
Now those inters just look so good right there. I don't know what Jeff was thinking about wets. You know, I'm just still baffled with that. The rain looks heavy.
Well, it looks like to me, it looks like there are just enough cars on the track to keep the main racing line itself dry enough for the intermediates to still be competent. The wets are just as good as the intermediates online, and that's the problem. They're only as good. So when you're in a scenario like this at Hungary, where clean air is everything and DRS is everything, and you don't have either, the wets can't really do anything. And then when you're offline, the wets are better, but being offline in general just means that you're slower around the circuit. I do think the call is probably right. The wets are probably the better tire to be on. But that's not going to matter because there's nothing else. Unless the track was utterly soaked, like typhoon level soaked, I don't think the advantage that the wet convey onto the circuit is enough to make a position. We've seen throughout today, you almost need to have a 1.5 second difference in pace compared to the other drivers per lap to make an overtake without DRS here.
It's looking really, really promising for Raptor at the moment with only 7 laps to go. If he can just stay consistent right now, he is going to walk into his first win.
Thing for Raptor is that the question is, can he even keep the car on the racetrack? He has had I should rephrase it. He's had 3 distinct crashes and then 3 other spins of some variety or some seriousness on top of that. For Raptor, if he spins, he will fall out of the 3-second barrier compared to Stone Shuffle, and that's it. The win goes to Stone Shuffle, because Smoothie doesn't seem to have what it takes to keep pace with the McLarens.
No, those wets is just a bad call. And he's thinking it right now. He's sitting in the wet cockpit saying, damage to put those engines on when that 6 car came out.
Coming down, when Zola crosses the line, it will be 7 laps to go. The top 3, all close enough that you could basically throw a blanket on top of them. Raptor doesn't need to make any moves. He just needs to keep it clean, avoid time penalties, and stay within 3 seconds of Stone Shuffle. Also of note, there's a battle beginning to form for the 4th position. Flavor has closed the gap on Smoothie, and although those intermediate tires that Flavor has are 18 laps old and in a very, very bad position, they seem to be keeping pace with the wet weather tires that Smoothie has. And Smoothie is far enough back from the top 3 that Smoothie has fresh air as well. It seems like maybe you're right. Maybe the wets are even worse than I thought.
They were. They're terrible. I honestly felt like I was on ice, and I was like, what, is there not enough water on the track? Is there not enough water on the track? Like, come on.
Zola has just lost the position of Stone Shuffle. Team orders has come into play, and what that means is that Stone Shuffle might be able to open up a gap on Raptor to walk off with this win. Zola can play interference against the Mercedes, and if Stone Shuffle can get 3 seconds away from Raptor, he could do it. It's going to be a lot more possible with another McLaren between the Mercedes and the leader. Beastie, another time penalty, but being 2 laps down is not really going to factor in too much.
Looks like Zach Brown made the call. We want you to block. We want you to block.
Raptor has a good run down the straightaway, but not good enough to make a move. Or is it? He's looking for a potential spot. He ducks to the inside. They're going to be side by side for the 2nd position. Neck and neck. Who's going to have it? Zola is still ahead on the run down to turn 2. It's still Zola. Raptor will get ahead of Zola, irregardless, due to time penalties. The thing is, Stone Shuffle is just trying to open up 3 seconds worth of a gap on Raptor. As it stands right now, the gap is 1.6 seconds. Flavor has gotten by Smoothie. Smoothie has gone a little bit slow, and Flavor has gotten by him. Zola going intentionally slow, holding up Raptor throughout Sector 2. He's going to force Raptor to burn up his tires and burn up everything to get by. I think this is going to be an excellent call by the McLaren team to bring home a potential win for Stone Shuffle. Raptor can't get close enough to Zola out of the corners to make an overtake, and Zola is intentionally making himself ridiculously slow out of the corners to hold up Raptor's progress.
Raptor needs to dig down deep right now. He needs to push.
The gap is right now 2.2 seconds between 1st and 3rd. Smoothie is coming into the pits. He's likely going to throw on a set of intermediates to see if maybe he can go for fastest lap. I don't see that happening. But obviously those full wets were the wrong choice, and it's paid back in the wrong way for him. The driver who is the most likely to win the race at one point, now it looks like he's going to be relegated to a 5th place finish.
Bro, it looks like Smooth has also got wing damage. He had to do a wing replacement there.
Gap now 2.6 seconds between 1st and 3rd. Raptor cannot find a way by Zola. The Hungary, basically being a wall-less Monaco throughout a large portion, has turned itself into a scenario where overtaking is almost impossible. Raptor needs Zola to make a mistake to get by. Otherwise, it's not happening.
Oh my goodness, this is insane.
Well, that's why I'm broadcasting it.
I love this.
2.1 seconds coming into the last corner, but Raptor's been very weak, putting the power down out of the last corner. doesn't seem to have a whole lot of pace on the straight lines compared to the McLarens. He's closing in just a little bit on Zola, but not enough to make a move. He gets right underneath the rear wing under braking. The McLaren ahead steps out a little bit, but gets a nice exit out of the final corner. Run down into turn 2. Zola is still ahead. The gap from first to third, 2.2 seconds. Raptor backed out of it, out of turn 3, so he wouldn't be hampered as much by the McLaren. But every time he does that, Zola responds by letting out a little bit, and it's artificially forcing the gap between first and third to get wider and wider. Penalties is what it's going to come down to. 2.7 seconds between first and third. Now 3 seconds. That would turn it to Stone Shuffle. Raptor now 3.5 seconds out. It looks like this might be it. With 4 seconds to go, the call in the McLaren camp to swap the 2 McLarens and get Zola in second to hold up the Mercedes may have been the best choice. Here, I will say this, if Stone Shuffle gets another time penalty though, I think it's over for him. I don't think there's a way for Zola to back Raptor up another 2.25 seconds in these last few laps.
Just needs to stay consistent for the last 3 laps of this race.
It's 3.6 seconds now between first and third. Raptor is all over Zola, but there's no way to get by on this incredibly narrow, incredibly slow, incredibly wet racetrack. The gap is now up to 4 seconds.
Wow, Stone Shuffle is really pushing the pace at this moment. Almost a second a lap.
The thing is, for Stone Shuffle, I don't think he's really pushing it himself. I think more than anything else, Zola is just holding up Raptor and making hell. Because I'm watching the gap, Stone Shuffle and TIR Flavor, although Flavor is on tires are 5 laps older, that gap's not really changed a whole lot. Flavor is just closing in on the Zola and Raptor battle. So I think it's just that Zola is doing everything in his power to back Raptor up. Raptor had to back way out there coming into Sector 3. I think this fight is over. Raptor is having trouble holding on to the back of Zola. I think those front tires are all burned up now.
It is looking like Stone, Raptor, Zola.
Actually, I think it's going to be Stone, Raptor, Flavor, because Zola has 12 seconds of time penalty, Flavor has none, and right now Flavor is within about 10 seconds of Zola, so it looks like Flavor is still going to end up on the podium positions.
Very, very good.
This would be Flavor's second time gaining a podium in XRRL, but the last time it was in a very... it was earned, don't get me wrong, it was at Sashi, and it was in a very chaotic race like this one, but he was outside of the top 10 until literally the last restart, where everyone else who had like 6 to 10 seconds of time penalties ended up behind him. Flavor has legitimately been fighting for the podium positions all day long, and is going to rightly earn a podium if he can bring it home today. They're coming to the white flag now. Stone Shuffle just has 2 more corners and then 1 more lap to make it to the end. He has almost 4 seconds on Zola alone right now and nearly 5 seconds on Raptor. Zola has been doing an excellent job keeping the Mercedes behind. Even if Raptor is to get by Zola, there's no way that Raptor would close another 2 seconds and some change on Stone Shuffle in this final lap. Interestingly enough, it's both McLarens and both Red Bulls, 2 teams that got both their drivers in Q3. And both teams are going to have both their drivers finishing this race as well. If this was a normal points-paying season for XRRL, this race would wreak complete havoc on the championship. Only 6 drivers earning points at the end, that's almost unheard of.
Right. This is it. In the second sector right now. Just about to get to the third sector to finish this race off. What an unbelievable run.
Oh yeah, I think Raptor is probably hopping mad right now because there's nothing that you can do when the team does team orders like this, where the second driver knows that all he has to do is just back you up.
Flavor's been pulling back, eh? He's 10, almost 11 seconds behind.
I think Flavor's tires are basically dead at this point.
Yeah, he's had 24 laps. Oh my goodness.
Alright, well, coming out of the final corner in the McLaren, it's going to be Stone Shuffle for the victory here at Hungary. Zola will be the second car to cross the line, but it's going to be Raptor who finishes second. And we are anticipating TIR Flavor will finish third unless he hemorrhaged a bunch of time on this final lap. We'll see here in just a moment. Yes, Flavor takes third, Zola takes fourth, and Smoothie25 is going to come home in the 5th position. At Curiosity, would you be willing to try and invite literally all 6 of the drivers into the party? Not Smoothie yet, not BC yet, because they've not finished, but would you at least be willing to try and invite Stone Shuffle, Raptor, Flavor, and Zola in?
Yeah.
Here we are, out of the final corner. Coming to the line is Smoothie25. And he will officially bag that 5th position, and BCM will do the same for 6th.
And Raptor. What an excellent race.
That was a very, very interesting race by all intents and for all intents and purposes. All right. And the driver of the day, the game gives it to XRLO despite not even being able to finish the race. That just goes to show you what kind of event this was.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to try and get literally every single race finisher into this for the post-race party. So...
Celebrate, boys. Let's celebrate.
Good job.
All right, so, first up, we want to talk to our race winner, Stone Shuffle. Shuffle, make sure your audio's included. Congratulations on that win. I have to ask, though, in those last 10 laps, was that team orders between you and your teammate to get you out in front?
Well, I have to say a big thank you to Zola, because without him forming a backer, there's no way I had the pace to actually pull away from Raptor to get that gap. Not a chance. Not a chance.
Oh my.
So really, that win has to go down as big credit for Zola, because he did the Bottas role really well.
Yeah, literally took the race win right out of my hands.
Yeah, sorry about that. I did feel a little bit bad.
No worries, mate. No worries, mate. It was hard fought.
Well, Stone Shuffle, you brought home a win in a hyper chaotic race where we only saw 6 drivers finish and only 5 of them on the lead lap. So just making it to this point in the race is incredible in itself, but being able to take home a win, even more stunning. So great job.
Yeah, thanks very much. I appreciate that.
Well done.
Yeah,
Well done, mate.
congratulations,
Well done, mate.
Good
Excellent,
job.
man.
Good
I
work.
want to go ahead and talk to Raptor
yeah.
now, who came home second. Raptor, you know, this is a really, really weird race. It feels like a hybridization of what we saw of you in the Mercedes last season and what we've seen of you thus far in the Red Bull this season. Here, you struggle in the Mercedes. You had no less than 6 different instances on the racetrack today, but you still took pole, still led 11 laps on merit, and still finished second. How in the what in the world do you have to say about your race today? Just what the heck was that?
I'm going to buy a lottery ticket after I get out of here, because I've got some kind of luck. I don't know any other way to explain it. I will say that it's very bitter. It's a very bittersweet second because I had initially the gap I needed to overtake Stone Shuffle. Where when we started the battle about 6 laps from the end, it's just he was very slowly able to build a gap on me, and I owe that in part to Zola allowing Stone the overtake, and that giving opportunity for Zola to act as a blocker for Stone. Had he not been there, I'm confident that I would have been able to close the gap on him. So kudos to those two drivers for showing a lot of showing what teammates do, supporting each other, and taking home the Stone being able to take home the race win.
Alright, well, the search for you gain your first win in XRRL continues. Numerous podium finishes, though, thus far in this game. Do you think that win is going to come anytime soon?
I'm confident that if I keep on doing what I'm doing, minimizing the number of silly mistakes, and just continuing to focus on the fundamentals, I'm confident within the next 2 to 3 races I'll have a win under my belt.
Alright, congratulations. Also, I want to say good job on, despite having 6 distinct spins or crashes, you still finished the race with no time penalty, so good job on that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Alright, also now I want to talk to our 3rd place finisher, TIR Flavor. Assuming you're still here, Flavor, go ahead and include your audio. Flavor, you know, this is your 2nd time getting on the podium in XRRL, but under completely different circumstances. You went through a car change, you're now in the Red Bull instead of the Mercedes, and immediately the pace is different. Gone was the TIR Flavor who hangs out in the back and doesn't really fight at all for positions. Here you are fighting legitimately for podium all day long, almost led the race on several different occasions, came home 3rd. What do you have to say about your race and your incredible improvement in pace today?
I just think qualifying gave me so much confidence, and just getting that at 117 and then nearly at 116 in the end, which I was so proud of, and getting 6th to start the race as well. But being careful at the start, I dropped a little bit, but it just came back. A few little scary moments, but then found myself in 2nd. Couldn't quite believe my luck. Tried to stop myself dreaming of 1st or even 2nd. Just kept going. The rain came, got harder, got incredibly harder. Fantastic race for those around me. The space we gave each other was some good battling. I've always just wanted to compete, and today I felt like I've competed the best that I've competed
You
so
did
far.
great, Flavor.
Well done. Well done.
Thank you. But yeah, also back on. Yeah, it's amazing. I need to pinch myself. But yeah, it's just amazing. I just want to keep that going now and try and learn something I've learned to keep the speed into the corners more. So it's just keeping your foot off the brake and accelerator, trying to get that pace more. And I think I'm learning, definitely.
Indeed.
Thank you, everybody.
Yep. Alright, before we wrap up the broadcast, I do want to turn the focus back to Raptor. This might piss you off a little bit, and you might even see us starting a fight, but I do think it needs to be brought up. In the dev race today, there was a late race restart where the leader backed the entire field up, and although it didn't cause a yellow flag, it led directly to 3 different drivers DNFing out of the dev race. You were one of them. You were very vocal in the Discord about how it was a very poorly taste move. Then, today, when you were leading at the end of the first safety car, you did the exact same thing, backed the entire field up through the final corner, and then on top of that, missed the braking zone in turn 1, causing a massive multi-car incident in the process, which you were part of. What do you have to say in regards to that?
Yeah, explain yourself.
Where I was positionally on the restart, being in P1, my intent was to go as literally the second that the safety car crossed the pit limiter line. I thought I had it. It was an honest misjudgment on my part, and I got a little bit of chassis in turn one, lost traction. That is completely on me. I have no illusions about that. It's something that going forward I'm going to need to work on a little bit.
Alright, but I do have to ask, are you going to retract your anger, let's just say, over what happened in the dev race or not?
Well, you're never happy when you DNF, and the anger is always going to be there to an extent. But once you've had a chance to kind of step back from that, look at what happened objectively, I think that does help you improve as a driver, and that's kind of part and parcel of what I said to the other drivers involved. Is we just have to be cognizant of what it is we're doing. That mistake was made in the dev race. That mistake was also made in XRRL. I think it's just a matter of how respectively we go forward from that point. So I am kind of inclined to retract what I said about the dev race.
Alright, well, yeah, again, that may have been a little bit overstepping my boundaries, but I honestly could not resist after I watched that happen in the dev race, and then I watched it happen here by one of the people who were vocal about it. I could not resist digging in on that. So
fair enough,
I apologize, no hard feelings, but I could not exist.
Not
and again, to everyone, because again, there were only 6 drivers who finished today's race, and only 5 of them on the lead lap. To all of those drivers, by all intents and purposes, congratulations on being able to just finish on what's probably been the most challenging race we've ever seen in XRRL. Hungary is always compared to Monaco, yes, a little bit faster and with less walls, and now you have to do it in incredible rain. Just incredible what you guys are able to do, and good job on y'all at finishing. Anyways, unless anyone else has anything to say though, we'll start wrapping up the broadcast.
Thank you. It was a great race.
Thank you, great race. Well done, everybody.
Alright, I'm not even going to do the exit music. We're actually running overtime. It's been more than 3 hours. So we're going to go ahead, shut down this broadcast. Check us out tomorrow on the main channel for X1 at 5 p.m. UK time. On the alternate channel at the same time for X3 and at 8 p.m. UK time on the main channel for X2. Until then, sayonara, goodbye. Okay. Wow, Hungary is one of my least favorite fucking tracks, and that was great. Did the party just crash? I think the party just crashed. Yeah. Yeah, I think the party crashed. Yep. Thanks.